Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I love this.
My name's Jay Milne. Hashtag Luke.
Our sports update deliverer, the Koob.
I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest.
All right, here's what's going on in the Nasty Show.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Can't start quite yet. Can't start quite yet. Yeah, I just got to wait for Adrian Brody to stop talking. Just wait. They're trying to play him off. Hang on. Okay. No. Oh, no, he's not done yet. Sorry. Hang on. Sorry, everybody. Just the best actor speech still going on. Okay, now he's done. Okay. Great work. Great work in the Brutalist, Adrian. Thanks for coming by to deliver your speech in person for winning. How's it going, everybody? Well, that was a new tune off the top of the show. What's going on with that?
Yes, that was a new tune. This is was sent in. This is a listener, a nasty, T-Buds, and that is his band, The Heavies.
I like that track.
The Heavies, they're Edmonton-based rock and roll band with a classic edge. And that's off their debut album, All Work and No Play.
Really good tune.
You're going to be hearing some of the Heavies as part of our show.
Are we ever? Can I meet them?
I think we should interview T-Buds. He's a great dude.
How do you know him?
He played football. I think he was just always behind me, where I was Wildcats and Bears. We never played together, but I know him. He's a Sherwood Park guy, and just a legend. He's just one of these guys you meet, and you just don't want to leave his side.
And what does he do in the band?
He's the singer.
Wow. All right. How many people in the band?
I think 5.
Do you know all of them?
No.
Well, we got to meet them.
Yeah.
Maybe they can come play at some bash we have. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe
or
they
can come by the station and play some songs.
Sure.
That's a good track.
That's
a
great
really
track.
fun track.
Yeah. They've got all their music's available. It's on Facebook, YouTube, The Heavies.
All right. We'll keep them in mind. Are we going to play that more? We'll play it every day?
I think we should play it every day.
Start the show with it. That's fun. It's a fun way to start the show. How's it going, everybody? Hope you had a great weekend. Along with Jason Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins. This is Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Brendan Eric working on the technical side of things today, and he'll be your sports update deliverer as well. Luke Gazdic is a weekly guest on Edmonton Sports Talk. He will check in at around 4:20 this afternoon. We'll get you the update from Oilers practice. We have some clips from head coach Chris Knobloch and from Darnell Nurse. The lines today, McDavid centered Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl was with Podkolzin and Savoy, Henrique, Janmark and Brown, Kapanen, Skinner, and Perry. Now, Arvidsson was not on the ice. Maintenance day for him. There were only 5 defensemen on the ice, so they were all rotating around. Nurse, Bouchard, Emberson, Klingberg, and Stetcher. Ekholm and Kulak not on the ice. Maintenance day for Ekholm. Kulak is sick. So Knobloch offered the Four Nations face-off guys the day off, and McDavid still skated. And Arvidsson and Ekholm did not. Kulak under the weather. Kulak maybe needed a rest after that game on Saturday. Man, he was spectacular.
He's been there. Arguably, he's been one of their most consistent players during this rough stretch.
Yeah. Well, I think for this, because we had a listener, I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, saying, well, criticizing Paul Coffey, which is fine. Like, hey, you want to criticize anybody, that's fine. But, like, give us a reason. Don't just write it and say this guy sucks. Like, let's be a little more intelligent than that. But somebody said, somebody criticized Coffey because of Bouchard having an off season compared to power play goal, by the way. What a way for Dustin to finally get the Bouchard power play goal.
Oh, my.
Who would have thought, even the most pessimistic fan, that a Bouchard power play goal wouldn't come until March 1st? I never would have believed that. but he gets what has Dustin not been predicting a power play goal in every game for the last month and a half about?
It's longer than that.
Maybe longer than that. What a way to get it. Well, I think there was 4/10 when it actually crossed the line into an empty net power play goal. Very odd. But the listener that day was criticizing Paul Coffey and saying, Coffey runs the defense and Kubusch is having a poor season. And I said, okay, fair enough. But if Coffey doesn't just coach Bouchard, he coaches the defense, and you got Brett Kulak playing his best regular season hockey as an Oiler, I would think. He's been a pretty good playoff performer. And you got Darnell Nurse looking like a steady Darnell Nurse, right? So, and I do think Emerson is improving. And I think, Ekholm is still a very good player, even though, there might be some minor concerns seeping in about his age and stuff like that. But to me, Kulak and Nurse have been very positive stories on the back end.
Very much so.
So, anyway, take that for what it's worth. The Oilers finally beat Carolina. Just a quick thought on that game. Now, we had Adam Gold, who covers the Hurricanes, on the show on Friday. And what did he say? He said they don't score. And I got to say, through 40 minutes of that game, I thought it was kind of a drab offensive performance by Carolina. Yes, they had some chances, but they weren't, to me, overly threatening in terms of sustaining anything. Pickard made the saves he needed to. And then in the third period, it got a little crazy. And Pickard really stood tall, including having to stop that shorthanded breakaway off the McDavid turnover with, what was there, about a minute 14 left when that happened?
That was under a minute.
Was it under a minute when that happened? Yeah. And here's the thing. Side note, we're already going on a bit of a divergence. I don't think teams really practice having a power play with the lead and less than 2 minutes left. They'll certainly practice trying to tie the game on the power play, because really just play keep away if you can. Could you just pass it around as much as possible? Because it was a kind of a risky pass by McDavid at the offensive blue line.
I don't like that theory. Play keep away, protect the lead. Just play your normal power play. Right? Try to score another goal.
But the other team, my argument to that is the other team's not going to play their normal penalty kill. They're going to play more aggressive.
Even, and that's why you should play your normal power play, because you're going to catch them off guard being a little bit more aggressive than they normally would. Playing patty cake and risk, and that's what happens when you play prevent defense. The unimaginable happens. And that would have been so Oilers of the last 5-6 games.
Well, yes, very much.
To have that bite them in the butt.
If that's how the game would have gone to overtime, and then they potentially could have lost. But Pickard made the save. Anyway, the Oilers got the victory, so they're back in the win column. They do play the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow. It's a 7 o'clock game at Rogers Place, so we will have coverage at 6 p.m., the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. That is with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas as the Oilers start a 3-game homestand tomorrow against the Ducks, Thursday at 7 against the Montreal Canadiens, and then Saturday at 8 against the Dallas Stars. Then they're back on the road again. They go out east for 4 more games. By the way, you are welcome to reach us here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. I often get limericks sent in to that. When I turned on my email this morning, I already had a limerick sent in from a first-time limericker. Limericker. If you write a limerick, you're a limericker.
Limerickist?
Oh, that also works. Limerickist?
Limerickist. Yes. You can't say it with the accentuation of the syllables limerickist. Limerickist.
Yeah, one who writes limericks.
Can you imagine?
What?
If you should add that to your Twitter handle.
I don't write very many of them anymore.
Well,
I'm more of a facilitator.
But you
Facilitator.
Of limericks.
That's right. You can text the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox at 780-218-9999. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all you can eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. Thank you if you're tuning in on the audio streams through iHeartRadio, through TuneIn Radio, through Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you so much. You can subscribe to the stations there. River, get your podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to our individual shows, so make sure you don't miss anything, and it helps us build our audience as well. And you can also get us on YouTube, which includes a video element. If you go to the Edmonton Sports Talk channel on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, first of all. Don't forget to do that. And if you're in there watching us right now, or maybe you're listening in the background, but don't forget to go to the YouTube screen and to click the thumbs up. Click that thumbs up button.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
That's it.
That one don't get old for me.
Yeah.
You can play that as much as you want.
Yeah. Hey, Brendan, can you fix the sidebar? Yeah. Thank you in the nasty chat. We got a minor typo, everybody. Hey, Brendan's working hard. He's changing that on the fly. We'll fix it. We'll fix it right now.
He works hard for his money.
Yeah, there's a few extra letters at the end of Oilers.
So hard
and
for
I'm
his
not
money.
saying this to make fun of him because
No.
I have made numerous mistakes.
Nobody here is perfect, Reid.
But I thought we should probably fix that.
Maybe Hernan's perfect.
Hernan's pretty close.
He's
Hernan
probably the closest
Hernan
in the
and Gager,
office.
actually. Might be the perfection show.
I think it is.
The perfect pair. We're going to have Luke Gazdic on the show. We're going to talk to Ian Herbers, the head coach of the Golden Bears hockey team. They were unfortunately eliminated last night. The Pandas advanced to the Canada West final with a Game 3 win over Mount Royal at Clare Drake Arena. So they're in the Canada West final, but this already gives them a spot at Nationals as well. So talking to some people who I trust, apparently, and maybe some of you were at the game. Maybe we had a nasty or two at the game. Apparently, it got a little dicey in the stands at Clare Drake Arena on Saturday night for Game 2. So Mount Royal in town to play the Pandas in the Canada West semifinal. This is the version of the story that I heard. Okay, so I'm passing this along. What is this? Anecdotal. I'm not saying, oh, this is exactly how it happened, but I trust the sources that I have for this. Apparently, there were some Mount Royal fans who had signs on the glass supporting their team, as I saw the Dinos men's fans had the previous weekend.
Yeah, that's what you do.
When I did go to a couple games. And apparently, Guba, the great University Bear of Alberta, the mascot. Does anybody in this town not know who Guba is?
That's a great question.
When you say Guba, do you have to say the Golden Bears mascot?
No, I don't think you do.
Do you know the name of the Pandas mascot?
Patches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought hopefully Guba is known to everybody. Apparently, Guba took down a sign, as a mascot might be prone to do. And my belief is always if a mascot does something, it's meant to be lighthearted and goofy. It might be playful antagonism, but not real antagonism. But apparently a certain number of Mount Royal fans took this quite harshly. And words started being exchanged between the Mount Royal fans and Guba, though I don't know if the mascot talked. Then I heard, again, this is what I heard.
Don't talk.
Mascots don't talk. Then I heard, some UofA staff got involved, and perhaps some of them, one or two of them, didn't do a great job de-escalating it. They may have escalated it while some of their colleagues were trying to de-escalate. Perhaps things got a little more heated. And then I also heard a UofA fan came over to this section, tore down another sign off the glass, and stuffed it in a garbage. And at that point, it became a physical confrontation involving, the way I understand it, maybe 10-ish, 15-ish people. It wasn't a full-on brawl. I don't know how intense it was, but it was to the point that some law enforcement personnel visited Clare Drake Arena and removed some personnel and probably told them it might be better if you don't ever come to this venue again. And I was also told this was during the intermission and kind of dying down by the time the players were coming back on the ice for the period.
See, it's the people like this that ruin it for the rest of us, because sooner than later, they're going to stop serving alcohol at the Clare Drake. Then you can't even have a beer at the game.
They got green and gold lager.
Hooligans at a Pandas hockey game.
Yes.
Who would have thought? I didn't have that on my bingo card today.
Yes.
The shakedown at Clare
did.
Drake. I wonder what they'll call it.
I don't know, actually. Well,
mistake
we're
at Clare Drake.
We're kind of both making light of it, but recognizing it shouldn't get to that level.
Well, honestly, Reid,
and maybe Guba shouldn't have done that in hindsight. Just let the visiting team have a couple signs.
What's the difference between that, what happened at Clare Drake, and what happens most weekends at local hockey arenas across Alberta?
Well, that's the thing. You and I don't know the extent to which stuff happens that probably shouldn't.
My friend sent me a video of his son's team, and there was an all-out brawl in the stands. And like older people,
Right.
like grandparents. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I got to read this, Reid. I got to read this to you, Reid.
I'm here.
Not, I got to read this, Reid. Haas, okay? Long-time listener, big EST fan. He writes in and says, EST hit a home run with you two, referencing you and I. You're now my favorite show on EST. Haas.
Oh, thanks, Haas.
Wow. Haas. It's statements
isn't it nice to be suddenly so highly regarded?
And as I thought, I was waiting how long this would take, but Smith TM14, who we know is a longtime loyal 49ers fan,
Oh my!
has chimed in on the Debo Samuel.
We're going to save this for later in the show.
Well,
but,
we're
okay.
going to get to it. We're going to get to it. So him and I have been conversing about this on the River Cree inbox, 780-218-99. The shake at the Drake.
The shake at the Drake.
That
Yeah.
comes in from Corey B. I like that one.
Yeah. Anyway, emotions run high at hockey games, but really you shouldn't be having a physical confrontation with other fans. And I know it might be hard to walk away if they're yapping at you, but really, they're not playing.
And D-Rex has sent in a picture of his book that needs binding. And he says, Bookbinder, years ago you served my father in the binding wars. Now I beg you to help me with my struggle against the unbound. Help me, Bookbinder. You're my only hope. And this book, I mean, look at this, Reid. That book needs help.
Who's that from?
D-Rex.
Derex, name similar to a dinosaur, and your book almost as old. Yet if anyone can salvage it and bind it back together for your enjoyment, it is I, the bookbinder of Alberta. The last one, Jason Milne, the last one.
Shaggy and St. Albert in the nasty chat. Despite Reid being wrong on the 0-5 road trip, I'm not even going to read the... Of course, Shaggy has to point it out, eh? Captain Negative. Here's somebody's shortcomings. Here's Reid being wrong. Let me remind the world of his incorrectness. Thank you, Shaggy. I salute you.
It was only a matter of time until it got brought up. I mean, but you know what, Reid? I mean, you felt that at that time.
I did.
And you stood behind it. And you were directionally right. It was a poor
poor road trip. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I did go look for the specific 9-2 score on Coolbet, so you owe me a coffee for that one. That would have been a big hit.
You bet 9-2?
Yes. And 8-2.
You can bet exact scores?
Mm-hmm.
You can make it that precise?
You sure can.
How much money would have you won on a $1 bet?
It was $1 bets, and it would have been over 100.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's a very obscure score.
That's amazing.
But can you imagine if it did hit and I rode with Reid?
Yeah.
Man, I would have been a legend.
I could have a segment on the Lock Shop, Riding with Reid.
Riding
Ride with Reid, and then I would just say, hey, don't bet more than $1.
Yeah.
But here's my bet. This game's good. This game's going to end 47-15. That would be football, I guess.
Remember, kids, don't bet real money. Just play money.
Just bet your Monopoly money. All right. 780-218-9999. If you want to text us, that is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Keep on flicking the thumbs up, the Fonzie button on YouTube. If you're new to the show, first of all, we don't just do this to feel validated or to get approval. We are helping to build the algorithm for the show, bring in other like-minded people to Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. And our first threshold is at least to get to 100. Which we do all the time now. So then our next threshold is 130, which means Jay will give me a word of the day at the end of the show. And now our tertiary threshold to get to double word of the day is 100 and...
Yes.
We will have the off-topic topic. We have the oil understood coming up. Luke Gazdic in a bit as well. Here comes Brendan with the sports update.
And then with that.
The Oilers' practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it, and Kulak is sick but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL featuring the Battle of New York taking place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. Montreal meets up with the Sabres at the Bell Center. And the Lightning head across the state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season. However, they are hopeful his groin will be good to go for playoffs. Draw 9 at the Briar sees Mike McEwen's rink down 1-0 to Quebec at the end of the third end, and Team PEI is trailing Alberta's Brad Jacobs rink 2-1. Pro Football Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson has called it quits on his broadcasting career. The 81-year-old was a member of the NFL on Fox panel since 2000. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton area for over the last 30 years. Their showroom offers all the best and latest flooring, tiles, and area rugs. Tell them EST sent you for 10% off your next purchase in-store or online at ParamountFlooring.ca. More Reid and Jay around the corner. My name is Brendan Eric, and you are up to date.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out the grand opening sale ends soon.
That was a very confident point, Brendan. Cueing me that we're back from commercial. He's a good kid.
Brandon?
Yeah. What are you on, your practicum or something? Yeah, what school do you go to?
I go to School of Reid.
School of Reid.
Yeah, it taught me more than, well, that's not true. Nate taught me a
RWO.
lot.
Reid World Order. Brendan, you're witty. You're quick to it.
Hey, thanks.
I appreciate that.
All right, so
I appreciate you saying that.
Regarding the,
I love you too.
Oh yeah, sorry, it would have been Patches, not Koob on Saturday because it was the Pandas playing. Pardon me.
Maybe Koob just
so
was there to support.
somebody in the nasty chat saying I was actually Patches' handler on Saturday. Without getting too into it, the sign was initially taken down as a joke. I won't say much more on it, but it was blown out of proportion after that. Well, fair enough.
Ooh, an insider.
Yeah, yeah, but of course it would have been Patch. It would have been Patches, not Gooba.
How can you be mad at Patches?
Well, I'm not.
No, if you're a fan.
Can I say something a little personal here? When I was doing UofA basketball play-by-play, I believe Patches had a little bit of a interest in me. Well, I used to get, seems Patches always, whenever I was setting up for the broadcasts, Patches just always seemed to be there. Wondering if I needed any help or any companionship or anything like that. Never progressed beyond that, but I think there was...
That would have been an interesting
I
relationship.
think I was a little bit of the apple of Patch's eye, the bamboo of Patch's eye, so to speak.
The bamboo. That was out of left field, but golly, that was good.
Yes, thank you very much.
Whew, maybe we should start an angle here where there still is a love interest between you and Patches.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Hey, love never dies, man.
It was mostly one way. Like, I wasn't interested, really, and I was there to work.
Clearly,
not pick up a bear.
Clearly, you were. I mean, you're talking about it 25 years later or 20 years later.
It's not 20 years.
No, I'm not.
It's like 20 years later. By the way, portions of this hour presented by Canadian Brewhouse. Oh, it's a new month, eh? It's time for a wing throwdown at the Canadian Brewhouse. Do you want to hear the matchup this time? Fuego Verde. Am I saying that right? Fuego?
Sure.
Verde.
Verde.
What did he say? Well, I can't do it as
Fuego
classy as Cerny did.
Verde. Green fire, it means.
Oh, green fire. Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Something's burning. That's for sure.
So is Fuego...
Doctor, I've got a burning sensation.
Fuego Verde...
I had a Fuego Verde and a Honey Blaze. So sounds like you went to see a certain type of performer. And now on stage, Honey Blaze.
Oh my.
Well, anyway, that's not at the Canadian Brewhouse. Some bigwig in Toronto is listening to this for the Canadian Brewhouse and be like, what's going on?
What are these idiots in Edmonton doing? 28 minutes into the show, and that's how long it took us to get off the rails.
Fuego Verde versus Honey Blaze. Who's taking the crown? Hit up the Canadian Brewhouse for Wing Night. Our house is your house. So that's the matchup for this month. Portions of this hour presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. All right, Oilers and Ducks tomorrow. So the Oilers back in the win column after beating Carolina. Quick thought, and we'll hear from Knobloch on this when we get to the Oil Understood. I'll ask you this. Who would you start in goal tomorrow if you had the choice for the Edmonton Oilers?
Calvin Pickard.
As would I.
I think at this point, I know there's the thought process, okay? Well, you got to get Skinner going. He's your number one. He's your starting goalie. I don't know. What if Pickard gets hot? What if Pickard, starts? I mean, what is there, 14 games in March? Let's say he starts 9 of them and he wins 8. What if he gets hot?
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
Yeah, I think, here's the thing. I still think Skinner is the number one goaltender. I still think it's very likely he starts the opening playoff game. But they've given him a lot of chances, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure Pickard has not started back-to-back games. Usually it's 2 Skinner, 1 Pickard, right? It's pretty much been fairly balanced that way. But Skinner had a tough road trip. And again, the team as a whole had a tough road trip, but he didn't do anything to really bail them out, as we've talked about, which Pickard did on Saturday when they needed him in the third period. Not the entire game, but it's certainly in the third period. And even if you just go back to Skinner's last game, 2 good periods in Florida, and then a goal that you needed stopped off the stick of Nate Schmidt. So I would actually come back with Pickard, and then already be knowing that you're going to go to Skinner against Montreal. Now I don't know if coaches think like this because they are not, they're on the bench, and I'm sure the game sounds differently on the bench, than it does in the stands or on TV or up in the media box where I sit. But we know Oilers fans are passionate. And quite frankly, at this point, sadly enough, I do think there are a very small percentage, and I want to emphasize that, very small percentage of Oilers fans that actually want Stu to fail at this point.
You think there actually is Oilers fans?
Yes.
That want... Why?
Because they'd sooner be right than see their team do well.
Oh, because they're of the... Okay.
But anyway, if Skinner lets in a goal that's even moderately questionable, especially early in the game, what the buzz... there's going to be that sound in the arena, that worried noise. I'd give Skinner another game off. Say to Pickard, all right, let's see if you can do it 2 in a row. Like, it's, you guys are friends, but it's still healthy competition.
And then no matter what, give the net back.
And give the net back to Skinner against the Canadians. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, this doesn't mean, and Do you or subscribe to the belief that, well, we're however many games away from, 20 games away from the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get Skinner going and get him into those games so he's ready for the play. Do you think that the goaltender needs to play, a percentile more than he normally would coming down the stretch to get ready?
No, not necessarily.
Right.
I don't think so. And then there aren't back-to-backs in the playoffs, right?
True. And I think Pickard deserves to start.
Well, I do think, even though, Knobloch sometimes gets criticized for line shuffling and this, he has proven that he will reward good play.
Yeah.
I know it's not always the way people want, or maybe not as consistent as people think it should be, but he has shown he will reward good play and that he will give players who aren't feeling it a night off or decreased ice time. I mean, Arvidsson, was only 10 minutes on Saturday?
Yep.
He's not playing great. He hasn't played great for a while. And again, I know that when I bring that up, but Skinner, or Jeff Skinner, he got, okay, you know what? But fair doesn't mean equal.
Great
right?
point.
I remember Todd McClellan said that one. He goes, you want to treat players fairly. But then he said, fair doesn't mean equal. So, in the playoffs, he went to Pickard for a couple games. Why not go to Pickard again tomorrow night against, a team that is beatable, shall we say? Well, Anaheim's 500, but, they're almost, they're 15 points behind the Oilers. So not awful, but certainly not a playoff threat at this point. So, yeah, I would go with Pickard as well, knowing that you're going to go back to him against the Canadiens. Knobloch didn't name a starting goaltender today. He said we'll find out tomorrow morning. If it's an optional skate, maybe we won't even find out tomorrow morning. He might just say, come to the game. Do you remember when Woodcroft said that to me?
No.
I asked something about the lineup, and he's like, well, Reid, you'll have to buy a ticket to tonight's game and come and see who comes out the gate. That was one of his favorite things. Who comes out the gate?
He said you had to buy a ticket?
Yes. Well, he was trying to joke around a little bit, but whatever. But he used to say that. He was like, well, you'll have to come to the game and see who comes out the gate tonight. Okay. Thanks for telling me. So, Connor McDavid did practice today, even though he was given the option to not skate. Still, that option was still afforded the three players who were in the Four Nations face-off. Neither Ekholm nor Arvidsson skated. Again, Kulak wasn't on the ice. He's a little under the weather. Is expected to be fine tomorrow. And McDavid was asked about McDavid's. So you've seen this. So McDonald's in Edmonton, I believe it's the one Calgary Trail and 51st.
Okay.
So, near Global Television, right?
Yes.
Is that Tony Roma still there on the corner?
That's a good
That's
question.
all in that neighborhood. There's the Superstore.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a sawmill.
Is that still there? A little further down?
Yep.
Yeah. And then one of a McDonald's in his hometown of Newmarket, Ontario, for a week, right, are being named McDavid's instead of McDonald's. They changed the sign and everything. So that is the jumping off point. This is. Oh no! Wait a minute. I got the wrong one. I'm doing the top three now. I'm confused. I don't even know where I am.
Well, that's a teaser.
That's
for the top
a teaser
three.
for the top three. I'll tell you. Well, our top three is going to be. Have I ever lost my place like this before? Yes, I did. Everybody, last show.
It's all this Patches talk. Getting you hot under the collar.
Yeah, I'm a little flustered now. Well, the thing is with Patches, it always has to be black and white.
Jeez.
That's what I can't stand about pandas. It's always black and white with you, eh? No gray area.
Oh.
The top three later on is going to be restaurants named after EST employees. But our off-topic topic is inspired by the trade deadline, which is Friday in the National Hockey League. Off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. It's funny because Jay was pointing at the sheet of paper as I'm talking about that for me to get to the off-topic topic. And I'm thinking, isn't he listening to me? I'm getting to it, and I was using the wrong topic.
Well,
William Huff, since 1952, providing industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best can be is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. All right, listen carefully to this, okay? We want you, the audience, make us a trade proposal for something that we could actually trade you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not saying give us your Oilers trade proposals. No, we don't necessarily want you to write in and say, hey, guys, would you trade a fifth-round pick in 2030 for Crosby? That's not what we're looking for. We want you to make us a trade proposal for something that we, Jay Milne and or Reid Wilkins, could actually trade you. We'll give you an example. Our D100. Our 100-sided die.
Is that tradable, though?
No. Well, that's the thing. Make us an offer.
Well, it'd have to be a heck of a good offer.
Hell of an offer.
You like my Jaden Daniels, Jack Daniels t-shirt?
Maybe that's what you want.
Make me an offer, baby.
Right.
But offers will not be accepted until you've clicked the thumbs up. Or even discussed. You have to say, I have thumbed up. Here is my trade offer. Like, Reid, what would a trade be for your glasses? If somebody out there was like, man, I really like the shape of Reid's glasses. What kind of trade would somebody have to put together?
I would have to trade them for a pair of glasses with the exact same prescription, just frames that I also liked.
It'd be a bit of a gamble.
Because without my glasses, I'm pretty much lost.
What about...
Not pretty much, I am. I can't do anything.
What's like a big-time board game that you've always wanted? Like a set or something.
That I don't have?
Or like
I've
a comic
bought most
book.
stuff that I've
like a comic book.
Well, Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Spider-Man.
Would you straight up trade somebody your glasses and you'd be legally blind?
Yeah.
For that comic book right now.
I might do that.
Would
but then I'd have to go out and buy some glasses.
Well, I'd drive you
And my
home.
glasses, like these aren't cheap with this prescription, buddy.
I'd drive you home.
I wear trifocals, okay? These are trifocals. That's how bad my eyes are.
It's got to be worth it, man.
I would consider that for that comic, yeah. But then again, it's just a comic you would display and maybe even never sell again. But it would be in the ballpark.
Yes, Corey B, you do get the first right of refusal on the D100. Because he was the one that dropped it off. We would make sure we consult you.
Barry the Cheater says the comic would have to be a graded 10. Yeah, it would have to be mint condition or you graded a 10 for me to consider giving you my glasses. What are you going to do with these glasses? They're of no value to anybody. You're not going to be able to sell them as memorabilia.
Rusty Shackelford says, I'll trade you a signed George Strait picture for a guest host on an episode of the Achy Breaky podcast with Dustin and Rick, featuring George Strait. Now, we can't comment on that because we can't call the shots on their show.
No.
I mean, I
something
love
that
George
we
Strait.
could trade you. Something that Jay and I could trade.
The Rookie says, I will trade you my wife and 4 children, 3 of which are adult aged, for future considerations.
For futures. No.
I've got a wife and 3 children already.
No. Yes. All right, so that is the off-topic topic for William Huff. Make us a trade proposal for something we could actually trade you.
Here's one we could do. Jax.
People are sending these in this quickly?
Jax in the nasty chat says, a Ziploc bag of Sir Wilkins Reed's shaved beard hair for a Connor Bedard rookie card. That's not weird.
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean,
you'd have to let me grow it out a little bit.
That's a
to
slam
get you
dunk.
A nice bag. Yeah, we would do that.
I love how you're like, well, you'd have to let me grow it out so I can make it worth it.
Yeah, so I could actually fill up most of the Ziploc bag.
Norman Combine. How about 2 hours of handyman service for 5 minutes in the EST liquor cabinet? Once again,
possibly.
Can't make the call on that. It's a shared
I think
office
we could
space.
make the well. Yeah, I guess that's a good proposal though. It's 3:40. We got a new segment coming up after the break. It's the Trade Watch presented by Nate's Construction and Leadership Program. Here's Brendan Eric.
The Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it, and Kulak is sick but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL featuring the Battle of New York taking place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. The Blackhawks welcome the Kings to Chi-Town, and the Lightning head across the state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season, but they are hopeful that the growing is good to go for playoffs. Draw 9 is live at the Brier. Mike McHugh and Saskatchewan rink leads Team Quebec 3-1 in the fourth, and also in the fourth end, Team PEI trails Brad Jacobs Alberta rink 4-1. After 5 seasons with the Eagles, Darius Slay has become a cap casualty after dumping the 34-year-old. The Eagles will save $4.3 million against next year's cap. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Trade Watch with Reid and Jay after the break. I'm Brett and Eric, and you are up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right. Thanks a lot for tuning in. It's 3:45. Luke Gazdic is going to join us at about 20 after 4. Ian Herber's at about 20 after 5. Golden Bears season is done. I want to ask Ian if there is anything happening with his roster or other rosters, or if it's affecting recruiting about the changes with the NCAA and junior hockey. Because now if you play in the WHL, you can go play in the NCAA. Is that going to make it harder to recruit? Is it going to make a difference? Could players leave the Bears to go to an NCAA school? I want to find out. I would think that there would be several appealing players on the Bears to NCAA schools. One of whom we had on the show last week.
Say his name.
Aiden de la Gorgendiere.
Yes. Well done.
Man, that Bears series, so they lost the first game in overtime at Mount Royal. They won 6-0 in game 2. And then lost 4-2 last night to be eliminated. So we'll see how that series went. The off-topic topic for William Huff: make us a trade proposal for something Jay and I could actually trade you.
This one comes up. This is one of the first ones I've seen that's actually like, okay, let's have our agents talk. Bronco Nick He says, I thumbed up trade proposal. 1 dozen Mercado donuts and 2 Mercado sandwiches, mild or hot, you choose.
Nice.
For a Glue Crew hoodie.
Oh.
XXL.
Yeah, that's a good one to consider.
Bronco Nick, I need you to, when Maddie gets back from holiday, I accept the offer. I accept the trade.
We got to accept the trade.
I accept the trade.
So earlier in the afternoon, you were like, "Okay, Reid, but let's not actually accept anything because
no." I said, "What are the odds of us actually accepting
is that what
a
you
trade?"
said? I don't know.
You don't even listen to me. No,
What? You made it sound like you wouldn't actually accept the trade.
I accept that trade.
That was the vibe
I
of
just
your
have
comment.
I just have to find out if we actually have one in stock in our inventory. Barring that, I accept the trade. If we have it, that's the trade sound. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the TSN has the little trade noise.
Another trade coming in, Reid.
Yeah.
Rip City Step, I'll trade you an Irish tin whistle to play during Limerick reading for the sauerkraut in Iwanik's office.
Is there sauerkraut in his office?
He won it at the, what was it? The rip-off at Remax?
Oh, all that stuff. Yeah, I was not here for that. By the way, keep clicking the thumbs up if you're in YouTube. Good audience today, which we appreciate. We are going to dive into some NHL trade stuff in about a minute, I think, unless Jay has maybe sooner.
What?
Do you have any more of the listener trade proposals?
Got a lot.
People are embracing this one.
Yes.
We never know how it's going to go with the off-topic topic.
Brent P, trade proposal for you. A thumbs up delivered every weekday no later than 3:05 p.m. for the remainder of the hockey season in exchange for an extra good hint for the mystery player delivered by text message after the first hint is released.
We couldn't cheat. We
can't
cheat. We can't cheat.
I think that's crossing a line.
Yeah.
I've got a signed Almondo Sewell football. I'll trade it for rebinding of my Star Wars dictionary. Comes in from Nasty 95.
But again, that's not something you or I can give you. That involves the bookbinder. So I don't know what he would say to that. JJ says, I'll trade you Glenn Anderson's game stick for a McDavid and Draisaitl game sticks, plus your spot in a media dressing room scrum. Again, these are things that I can get you. I cannot get you Connor McDavid's game stick. I cannot get you Leon Draisaitl's game used stick. And it is not up to me to grant you a spot in the media dressing room scrum. That is controlled by the Edmonton Oilers. So, JJ, I cannot. Those are not things we can trade you, right? We got to be honest. We said we'd be honest with people.
Taylor Hall signed and framed picture for a burned copy of the Brody CD.
Oh, I think you could do that.
I accept. I accept that trade offer, except I'm going to one-up that. I'm going to make it better. I'm not going to give you a CD. I'm going to actually give you them on a stick. So you
Make it so, number one.
I think that's better, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Chris Sadaway, you got a deal.
That's amazing. You've taken 2 deals.
I'm a sucker for a good trade.
And I've just shot everybody's down because I am indeed a curmudgeon. It's a good thing I'm not an NHL general manager as we look at the Trade Watch presented by Nate's Construction and Leadership Program. Take your career to the next level with Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP. nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level. Really, the big trade for me so far, Seth Jones goes to the Florida Panthers, makes a very good team even better.
Yeah, like the rich get richer, right? I mean, that is incredible. And we were looking at this, the timeline of events here, as to how this happened, because they still have over $8 million in cap space because now they've put Matthew Tkachuk on LTIR.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is. Do you know Seth Jones? Drafted in the 2013 entry draft, number 4 overall,
behind
by Nashville.
McKinnon,
who was second to Florida.
Who was all that year? Is that Barkov?
Yeah.
And who was third? Don't tell me. Give me the team.
I only knew the second and the fourth, Reid.
That wasn't the. That's not the Huberdeau year. He was Nuge, right? He was the Nuge year. Why can't I remember?
Okay, it was another. Well, I can't do. How do I do this? Okay, he was drafted from the Halifax Mooseheads.
Another one off Halifax?
Yep.
Who was the other player? Oh, he's also in Colorado? Oh, who was that? Is it a
Drafted by Tampa Bay.
Oh, God, I'm blanking.
Turn your mic
Oh,
on.
Druin, of course. Yes. He's been on like 5 teams now, hasn't he?
So 15 years later, Barkov and Seth Jones are... And Florida was somewhat scrutinized for not taking Seth Jones with that pick.
Yeah, it was thought he could go number 1. Yeah. The Panthers are... Okay, as much as my pick of the Predators winning the Stanley Cup is now rightfully fallen by the wayside and being ridiculed, did I not pick the Panthers to come out of the East again?
I think you did.
And who did you have? Did you have
believe
the Panthers
I picked
as well?
the Rangers. Thought I picked the Rangers. That's not looking good.
You had a Jets-Rangers final?
I think. I have it written down.
The Rangers are 2 points out of the play. I'm pretty sure I had the Panthers getting back and the Predators winning. The Predators are good. Or pardon me, the Predators are not good. The Predators aren't last.
This is the
in
Patches
the West
of,
anymore.
This is the Patches effect.
Yeah, I got shaky. I got
stumbling,
shaky
mumbling,
blood.
rumbling, stumbling.
I got shaky blood thinking about Patches.
Whoa! Whoa! Do you know Seth Jones is the son of former NBA player Popeye Jones?
Yes, and Caleb played for the Oilers.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then they both played for. They were on Chicago at the same time, I believe.
What do you think about Spencer Knight? There's some. I mean, I believe he's getting the start tonight for Chicago against LA. But I mean, they signed Bobrovsky long term. Spencer Knight's only 23 years old. There is some talk about him potentially becoming the future of for the Blackhawks in net. Now, how far? I mean,
yeah, could be. I don't he's how old is he now?
23.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a relatively young goaltender. Did he? Yeah, 13th overall pick. Hasn't played he's played 80 games for the Panthers. Yeah, I think he could be a very good goalie, for sure. So if you trade Seth Jones and you get a franchise goaltender, is that worth it? Now, Chicago has other areas to address, though.
But they're not going anywhere right now anyhow. So, you've got somebody, a highly regarded asset like Seth Jones. You might as well get him off the books, get that contract off the books.
Well,
they're retaining.
He didn't want to stay there, right?
He was outspoken about wanting to be on a championship team. And this, I believe he said something to the effect of the Blackhawks are heading one direction. And, I'm not looking to head that direction.
I'd like to head in another direction.
Quite pompous.
The Panthers, and this is we saw this last year against the Oilers. We saw it on Thursday night. We've seen it other time. I feel like I've seen it other times I see the Panthers play, which is probably more than some teams because they've been in the playoffs a lot the last 2 years. They are good at owning the front of the net at both ends of the ice. Or maybe in the offensive zone you can't own it the same way in the defensive zone. But, even against McDavid last year in the Stanley Cup final, and clearly not every game because the Oilers did score, 8-5-5 in the 3 games they won, but they did it enough to win the series. And I thought we saw it on Thursday. They defend well. They got length. They don't get out of position. They're responsible. And then on the offensive end, they are very dogged and determined to get pucks and people to the front of the net. And that's the old simple thing about hockey. And yeah, they scored a couple of goals that were deflection goals, not pretty. But why did they do that? Because they put the puck into the scoring area, right? The one went off Kulak's back, and then I think didn't Verhaeghe. You have the other one going off his skate.
Yeah.
And deflected pucks are harder for a goalie to stop because they change direction closer to the net. And now a player with the ability and the size of Seth Jones gives them another defender who can box you out and prevent you from getting to that scoring area. I think this is a great trade for the Panthers. And in my mind, they're the favorite to win the East again.
I don't know how you could say they're not. I mean, that is just, you think of what they already had on defense. My gosh.
I mean, the Capitals obviously are very good. And they've been defending well and getting good goaltending all season long. But I don't know. Panthers Capitals in a series, I would still lean towards the Panthers.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, they're going to have the edge in goaltending. They're going to have the edge on defense, right? If not all three facets. That's a wagon. It already was. And that's why I was looking at their cap situation. But now with Kachuk,
they could possibly add another very good player if they want to do that.
Let me ask you this quickly here. Gager referenced this on EST Afternoons of getting rid of this loophole of the LTIR.
Right.
What Matthew Kachuk's doing, what Oilers fan hope is happening with Evander Kane, although
we'll see.
And we will talk and ask Luke Gazdic about that, what his take is on the Evander Kane situation. But what do you think of that? Do you think that the NHL should, eliminate this? Is it called a loophole, or are you just rule?
It's not against the rules.
Right.
And I think it'll remain to be not against the... I know there's been some discussion, well, maybe they'll make it so the cap applies in the playoffs too. But I think that also the GMs look at this and say, well, maybe someday I'll need to do this. So I want to have it available to me. If I lose a good player, I can trade for another good player and bring the first good player back for the playoffs, and it doesn't matter. So until this is what when we talk about officiating, right? That ultimately it's not the refs who make the rules or go every night and decide, well, I'm going to call this tonight and not some other nights and just screw teams over. Ultimately, it's the teams that contribute to making the rules, and this is the case here. They could easily at a board of governors meeting say, okay, enough of this, guys. But I think they're all in the back of their minds. I might need to do this someday, so we'll make LTIR a way out, and you can get that player back in the playoffs.
Well, and it's kind of like holding an ace up your sleeve, right?
Right.
And here the Oilers are with the perfect situation to take advantage of said rule. Yet there's still so much uncertainty revolving around Evander Kane. Like there's no agreement. There's no wink, wink, nudge, nudge between.
No,
Kane's
I don't think there
and
is.
the Oilers.
I know Rashog said that this morning. Elliot was on with Belzy and Tom on Hello Hockey on Saturday. I mean, you and I have talked about it. That I've said I don't think they really know what's going on with Evander Kane, the Oilers. I don't think they're 100% certain about it. So I don't think. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we know he could play March 28th, and we're going to hold him out. I don't think they know that. And it sounds like the Oilers are perhaps sniffing around teams he could be traded to, though I read the list that he gave just involves other contending teams who probably wouldn't be looking to take him on.
I cannot understand or comprehend how these two camps aren't talking to each other about this. How can it be up in the air? How can there be, from everything we've been hearing, well, when Evander's ready, he's going to play. I don't understand that. How can there be a disconnect between the Oilers organization and Evander Kane?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's kind of, if that is true, that's embarrassing. That's a stain on the Edmonton Oilers organization. 100%. In player management and valuing and having your assets ready to roll when you need them to. Right? And then why was that surgery delayed till September? I mean, you can go through this whole thing and there's so many questions about it that nobody knows.
Well, I don't think they told him when to have surgery. I think the player has a lot of input into that as well.
Yeah, a player under contract by the team that's paying your salary should have some say. No? Am I naive?
Yes. They can't force the player to have surgery in that situation. So Kane ultimately had it when he thought it was appropriate to have it, is my understanding, without remembering everything that happened. I don't mean I shouldn't have answered as definitively yes to you being naive.
No, I mean,
but I don't think there's two camps involved here. There's Evander Kane and there's the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay, so let's say Evander Kane is doing this to screw the Oilers. Screw
That's
this
not
team.
what I'm saying.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying this just as a okay. If he doesn't want to do the LTIR thing and wait till playoffs, he wants to come back and get some regular season games in before the playoffs. Essentially, leaving them no opportunity to do much here going into the trade deadline. What's his end game with that?
I don't know.
Right? I just don't see why this just doesn't work out the way that every other team with LTIR players has made it work out.
Okay, I'm going to say what I said back in September. Remember the history of this player. Okay, and people got mad at me because I actually predicted in September that he would never play another game for the Oilers.
You did.
That's what I was leaning towards. Okay? And I'm not saying that the Oilers are a perfect organization or letting them off the hook. I mean, there are two sides on this.
Sure.
But, okay, so just remember that. So I can't tell you what he's thinking or why he's doing what he's doing, but there is a history with this player and his relationships with his previous teams and teammates. Okay?
Fair.
All right. 4 o'clock. Got a break.
The Lock Shop.
Because this was kind of the last thing people would expect.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way. It's going to be tough to beat that. I mean, a lot of people have said that this really is the most stunning turn in professional wrestling since Hogan in the NWO. I wouldn't be surprised that by the end of all of this, if Cena actually, in his final act, comes back to the fans.
You're right. I mean, he's got to finish where he always was.
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you gotta do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your bad game. Play more tables and games. PlayMoreGames.ca.
The Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it, and Kulak is sick and not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL featuring the Battle of New York taking place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. The Leafs welcome the Sharks to the 6, and the Lightning head across the state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season. However, they are hopeful that the groin will be good for playoffs. Draw 9 is live at the Briar. Mike McEwen's Saskatchewan rink leads Team Quebec 3-2 in the 5th. And also in the 5th end, Team PEI trails Brad Jacobs' Alberta rink 4-2. T. Higgins is sticking around for another season with the Bengals as the team has placed him on the franchise tag for the 2nd straight season. The Oil Understood comes at you right now. I am Brendan Eric, and you are up to date.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon. Luke Gazdic coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll get his take on moving into the trade deadline here, the Oilers goaltending situation. I believe he also has a Joey Moss story, which often make people smile or emotional in some way. So we'll get to Luke coming up soon. We have the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, now a proud partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel! Understood. Jay was going to fall out of his chair.
Thanks for saving me.
By the way, email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. In the nasty chat, you can chat with us, more importantly, with each other. A lot of dialogue going on between. Keep it clean and respectful, please, even if it's not something you think we're going to read on air. And click that thumbs up button as well.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right, there we go. There it is. We want to get, we're almost at 100, so let's get that threshold quickly. Then we'll work on 130 and 155. All right, so speaking of Evander Kane, head coach Chris Knobloch today was asked when Kane might be available.
I know it's not immediately. I just know, as we get an injured player, when it gets close, I get that information to say when to start working them in, whether that's next practice or probably a week or two away, whatever it is, just to be planning ahead. Right now, I haven't got to that point. Right now, I know the players that I have, and I'm coaching those players, and right now, Evander's not part of that right now.
All right. So he doesn't know. He'll be told when he's ready to go or almost ready to go. Simple?
Simple, baby.
All right. Knobloch also asked about the goaltenders and who might start tomorrow.
Well, part of it is, one, it's a difficult situation where I see Stu as our starting goalie, and he's been our starting goalie, and I see him as our starting goal in the future. The other part of it is Calvin has played really well and has won games, and they're both deserving for that next start, and we'll make that decision tomorrow.
All right. I don't know what he's going to do. I would play Pickard tomorrow. Give him another shot.
Listening to just that clip, I would be led to believe that Stu Skinner's going to get the net.
What? Based on what?
Based on him saying Stu's our guy. He's our starter. He's always been our starter. He's going to be our starter. Calvin Pickard had a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just made it seem like, okay, back to our guy.
Yeah. Well, that's usually how he's behaved. But I wonder if, to play devil's advocate, could he be just preparing people saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go with Pickard tomorrow because he's got the hot hand, one good game. But Skinner's the guy long term. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Yeah. You could probably find both sides of the fence on that clip.
Right. I really don't know what he's going to do. I would give Pickard another game, though. And it's not as if he's playing Saturday, Sunday. He's playing Saturday, Tuesday. They would have traveled back, had Sunday off. They skated today. I would go with Pickard. And again, it's an Anaheim team that is not the most dangerous club in the league.
I guess this would have been their first skate back in Edmonton since the Four Nations started.
Although they had a couple practices before they flew to Philly.
Since it finished. Right? Since they left
finished
for Philly.
sure, yeah.
So those guys that played in the Four Nations face-off haven't had a day with their families or since they've been done.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
So that, I was just wondering, it's kind of odd timing to give them a day off, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
They probably haven't been home in a long time.
Though McDavid did skate, as we know.
Well, that's just him.
Got a limerick here from Andy, a first-time limerickist. Read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. This is the one that was already in my inbox this morning. Fans' reaction, well, it rhymes with Nantucket. For 5 straight, there's no doubt we did suck it. But in Raleigh, we'd mend. Stan, get us one who'll defend, or perhaps we should just Alex tuck it. That's actually pretty good.
That is very good.
That's actually pretty
I know the critique that you would have. You'd want to tighten up
to get
lines
tightened up,
3 and 4.
Yeah, even maybe lines 1 and 2.
Sure.
But rhyming Nantucket, suck it, and tuck it, as in Alex tuck it.
Brilliant.
That's pretty good. That's very well done. Darnell Nurse also answered some questions today. He was asked how far they are away from really putting together a good game.
I think we're close. The thing with this league is, if you're a degree off, it can seem like you have to retool everything. But it's just the parity of the league and how good teams are. With our group, I think we play a lot of good hockey. We've over the course of a season, it doesn't matter who you are. You go through stretches where you're not playing to the standard that you want, and I think for us, we definitely went through that stretch. We feels like we're making momentum and gaining our game back. With that said, though, it's got to continue. I think once you start to set your standard as a team, it needs to continue and evolve from there. And like I said, we played a lot of good hockey over the course of the year. We've gone through our highs and lows, just like any other team goes through over 82 games.
All right, anything you want to comment on there?
No,
I mean he's basically saying it's a fine line between winning and losing, which is generally true. And goaltending helps, which they had in the third period on Saturday.
Exactly.
Got a shorthanded goal. Go to the net.
Good things happen.
Win it off Henrik's body.
Good things happen.
One thing, and Jay, you and I have talked about this at times this season, and there have been games. I mean, wasn't there one game the Oilers were credited with 3 hits or something like that? Yeah. I also say that stat sheet does not tell the whole story, but if you look at the stats compared to other years, the Oilers don't have as many hits as other years. But I think from watching them, you can kind of say they aren't as rough and tumble as they have been in previous years. Darnell Nurse today asked about the team physicality.
I think our team can be more physical as a whole. And that's not just trying to run people through the wall. Whether it's stick battles, winning the net front battle on the offensive side, defensive side. There's definitely an element of physicality that our team can bring, and that sometimes that's not shed so much in the hit column. I think when we're playing at the height of our game and where we're getting back to, a lot of the physicality comes through, our work, either with the puck or away from the puck, getting inside position. When you're playing that way, you're a hard team to play against. And like I said, sometimes that doesn't show up in the hit column, but everyone knows, when you're playing with that battle level high, you're a hard team to play against.
All right, here's what he said at the beginning.
I think our team can be more physical as a whole.
How do you take that, first of all?
How do I take that?
That he was asked about the team, did they play physical enough? And he says we could be more physical as a whole.
I think when the Oilers are playing good, that question's not even asked. I think when they're, having a lull or a slump like they just went through, that's what you notice, is there's no fight back. There's no grit. There's no sandpaper on the ice. But when they are playing, and it's not bang, bang, crash them into the boards, open ice, hip checks physicality. It's being physical in front of the net, physical on the forecheck, physical on the puck. And when they're playing together collectively, moving the same direction, that question doesn't even get asked. That's what I think.
So do you think that they appear to be less physical than in previous years because of personnel or because of a mindset that perhaps is of Knobloch or the coaching staff as a whole?
I mean, Knobloch's pretty much said that this team is physical in different ways than just outright out-hitting a team or, punishing them in the corner. Like, this team is physical by committee. And when they're playing good, they are. They have that pushback. And so I think that is more of a team mentality than it is just personnel.
Yeah, I mean, I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I said, just finish your check. But I do think we see this in hockey, not just with the Oilers. Well, I don't want to finish my check because I got to get back and fill this lane. We got to take away the neutral zone. Where sometimes it's like, man, oh man, if you got a guy lined up, why not remind him that you're going to be there all night? Or in a playoff series, why not deliver a hit in game 1? Maybe he doesn't feel it until the third period of game 5, but that's when it makes a difference.
Now, I mean, during that stretch from December through to the end of January or mid-January, that was not even we didn't even talk about that or have people asking about the physicality of the Oilers.
No.
Because they were playing so well. So would I like to see more more hits and, like you say, finishing check. Yes, but that's not the MO from Coach Knobloch. He feels that they can do their dirty work in different ways. And like I said, when it's working, yeah, I agree.
So you think when he delivers the pregame, does his final little pregame notes, he doesn't say things like, you know how they show them announcing the starting lineup, and then they might say, "Okay, boys, remember they're in our barn, and we want to make them go home hurting." You know, he says things more like, "Remember, support your teammate. Let's make sure we're in the right spot."
Yeah,
he's like, he'd say something like that.
Gap control,
right?
Or do your job,
right?
Then the whole team is rewarded for you doing your job. If we all do our job together, collectively, this is a damn good team. You know what was noticeable during this recent slump too? And I think we touched on it, but remember earlier in the year, you and I were talking, and it's, the Oilers are down 3-1, halfway through the second.
Yeah.
That did not bother you or I.
No.
You said, no.
I always felt they're usually in it.
They still have a chance.
Yeah.
Right? Recent play, that team goes down 2-1.
Right.
Oh, this game's over.
This game's over, yeah.
So, yeah, they just haven't been playing and putting it together. Hopefully they can, with this, what is it? It's a 3-game homestand, a miniature 3-game homestand. Hopefully they can find their game again and then start rolling.
Yeah. All right, 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant, all-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday. That is from 4 to 10 p.m. You can jump into the nasty chat, by the way, if you're on YouTube. A lot of chat going on there amongst fans. Good to see that. And continue clicking away at the thumbs up. We're past 100 now. We got to get to 130 as quickly as possible. Remember, tell a couple of friends to check out the show and give us a thumbs up.
When I first tried Fabergé Organic shampoo with pure wheat germ oil and honey, it was so good I told 2 friends about it, and they told 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. We'll get to more of your, for the off-topic topic for William Huff, trade proposals for something Jay or I could actually trade you. So something in the office, in the EST, or that we have, something like that.
I've accepted 2.
Jay's already accepted 2. Are you keeping track of them?
Yeah.
Those people are going to show up probably when you're not here and say, no, Jay said he'd give me this for this. Just go grab it off his desk.
I need to know if we have XXL Glue Crew hoodies. That's what I need.
I don't know if we do.
Because I'd make, that's a heck of a deal. Mercado makes great donuts.
That is a pretty good deal. Luke Gazdic coming up in a couple minutes.
The Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given, and Kulak is sick, but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL, featuring the Battle of New York taking place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. The Leafs welcome the Sharks to the 6, and the Lightning head across the state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season. However, the Panthers are hopeful his groin will be good to go for playoffs. Draw 9 is live at the Briar. Mike McHugh and Saskatchewan Rink leads Team Quebec 5-2 in the 6th. Also in the 6th then, Team PEI trails Brad Jacobs Alberta Rink 5-2. Pro Football Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson has called it quits on his broadcasting career. The 81-year-old was a member of the NFL on Fox panel since 2000. This sports update is presented by Find Edmonton. Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or dropped off for free of charge. Find out how you can make an impact at findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. That is 780-988-1717. Luke Gazdic jumps on with the fellas after the break. I'm Brendan Eric. and you are up to date.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Missing the course? The Canadian Ice House is here to keep your skills sharp. Trackman golf simulators are open. Real golf action right in downtown Edmonton. Don't let the off-season slow you down. Visit us in-store or check out thecanadianicehouse.com for all the details.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Tommy Gunn's Barbershop is more than just a barbershop. It's a top-notch, tailor-made experience from check-in to check-out. Get a precision haircut, a classic shave, or a facial to step up your style. Just walk in, relax, and let Tommy Guns take it from there. Find comfort in knowing their team follows the code, which is their commitment to care for you as a customer. Check out Tommy Guns today, in-store or online at TommyGuns.com to bring out the best in you. Tommy Guns, where every cut is done right every time.
Good to have you tuning in this afternoon. Oilers and Ducks tomorrow at Rogers Place, 7 o'clock game. Our pregame coverage will commence at 6 with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. They will be on right after the game as well to break it down, give you a post-game reaction, and take some of your feedback. If you're watching us on YouTube, we thank you. Remember to click the thumbs up button.
Click. Must you click? Please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb.
And thanks as well if you're getting us through iHeartRadio or TuneIn Radio or through EdmontonSportsTalk.com. If you're getting us through a podcast and you're listening sometime in the future, we thank you, your future self, as well. Pleased to have this guy join us on the station every week. He's on this show every second week. Former Edmonton Oiler, now doing a great job with Sportsnet. It's Luke Gazdic checking in. Luke, how's it going?
Good, boys. I got a couple questions for you actually off the hop. You mind?
Go ahead.
First of all, what is this glue guy hoodie? Glue guys.
Well, my name in the office here, Luke, is Tommy Gazzola coined me as the glue guy. And you know through your years of playing hockey how important the glue guy is.
It's a huge compliment.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So now we've created a Glue Crew logo. The Elmer's glue stick, the whatever that animal is that's on the Elmer's glue stick. It says hashtag Glue Crew under it. So I'm a brand now, Luke. What can I say?
My next question would be, who do I give my address to get one of those shipped here? I'm gonna need one.
Luke, we can get you one.
Can I be a part of the Glue Crew? That was my job on every hockey team I played for.
Yes,
glue
you
guy.
can be.
Luke, I'm honored. I accept your trade proposal. We were going through trade proposals to Reid and myself. I'm gonna find one, and I'm gonna send it out to you. We'll make that happen.
Beautiful.
There would be nothing that would make me
love
happier than to see Luke Gazdic repping the Glue Crew. It's a beautiful white hoodie too.
I love it. I love it, man. You know what? Teddy Purcell, good Newfoundlander, that was like his favorite thing was glue guy. Like, so I really hadn't heard too much of the term until I played with Teddy. And that was like his thing. Like whenever I wasn't playing, he's like, you're a glue guy, eh? Make sure you're getting the boys going. You're in a good mood. No sulking here. Like make sure everyone's up. And then, you know, if it was a Saturday night and I didn't play, he'd be like, hey, no sulking. Make sure the boys have somewhere to go after. You got the reservation. Like he was big on that for me. So it's a huge compliment, Jay.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited to welcome to the Glue Crew. Wow, this is
let's go. Let's go.
That's amazing. All right. Now you made it easy for me. My first question for you. It's not actually a question. You texted me first thing this morning and said, Reid, Anaheim tomorrow. I have a story involving Joey Moss. And I thought right away our audience is going to love this. So go ahead.
You know what? It's just kind of a niche thing for me because every time I see Anaheim, this is what I think of. Maybe it's not incredibly funny, but for those who knew Mosser and knew how much of a legend he was, he made my time in Edmonton so much better. Just getting to go in the morning. I don't think people realize how quick he was on his feet. So we had the Ducks in one night, and Andrew Cogliano was on Anaheim. So Sammy Gagne, Taylor Hall walked across and got Cogs, and we were the guys on the other end. Me and Schultze were supposed to, you know, get Joey ready. So we pull him over to the side at Rexall where all the old players, like anyone that came back, there was like a door where we'd all kind of huddle right beside the old equipment area. And so I said to Joey, Joe, we got a friend coming to say hi to you. Do you know who it is? And he goes, no. And I said, well, who are we playing? And he said, Anaheim and Ducks. And I was like, all right, buddy, you got this. Who played for the Oilers, plays for the Ducks now, that wants to come say hi to you? And he took a second, he thought about it, and he went, Todd Marchand? And I was just like, that's such a good answer, man. That's such a good answer. So I thought he was smart. I'm like, you got it. You're just like 10 years ago, like 10 years back. So I didn't know he was like that dialed in on guys' names and everything and who they played for. You know what I mean? But to be on your feet that quick and think of that name, and that's the guy he remembered who played for both teams, I thought was pretty cool. Yeah,
Joey probably would have been good at that puck doku online, right?
Oh,
you
man.
have to match up this. He probably would have been very good at that.
Well, for the longest time, he called me Hector. Like from day one, I had a big beard, and he'd say, "You look like Hector, big beard." So I was asking Jeff Lang and Brad Harrison. I'm like, who is this guy? Like even Sparky, I asked. I'm like, who is this guy? So I guess we figured out it wasn't an Oiler. It was an old Edmonton Eskimo player in the 80s.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know. I still don't know really who it is.
He was on the 5 in a row teams, or at least some of them. And I've interviewed him, and but he would have a beard like that would cover half the numbers on his uniform. I don't know if he was a center, but he was an old lineman for sure.
Like ZZ Top like beard.
Yeah.
Oh, Joey came up to me every day. Hey, bud, you look like Hector. Big beard. Big beard. That's what he'd say to me.
No, that was
day.
like
So
a
I never knew who Hector
player.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. Like his mind was sharp. I mean, he wouldn't remember my name day to day, but he'd tell me I look like Hector every single day, which was incredible.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that Joey Moss story. I remember when the news broke that he passed away, it was like within an hour of me starting Inside Sports that night on Ched, and like I had a couple of people call in like in tears to my show. Like it was super emotional. He's such a legend in the city.
You know what? I'll give you a funny one. We used to have our football pool every Sunday. So we'd get a sheet of paper, and all you had to do was pick the winner, right, of every single game. And we would do it with Joey every time. And if anyone had a worse paper than Joey that week, there was a punishment.
Yeah,
which inevitably happened because the NFL is so unpredictable. But Joe didn't know a lick about football, and there you have these guys studying the starters and the lines, and they had only to get beaten by Joey Moss, who has never seen a game of the NFL. So
it was true. Joey Moss was quite the wrestling connoisseur, right? That was his thing.
Yeah, I got a bit more to that, but I don't know if I could share that one. Maybe another time with you guys. But yes, he did love wrestling. I drove him home a couple of days, and when we went into his house, he's got wrestling posters and DVDs. He's obsessed with it. Actually, I will tell a good one. Our very first year, his 40th birthday, Ryan Smith had a party at his house and rented a full wrestling ring, like all bells and whistles, and came in. They had a professional match, couple matches. And at the end, the guy had to tap out to win, and he called Joey in, and Joey got to tap the guy out, and we gave him the belts and everything, and all the boys were there. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing those, Luke. Great memories of Joey Moss for sure. Luke Gazdic from Sportsnet joining us on the Reid Wilkins Show. All right, so to shift focus, there's a lot of talk specifically about Evander Kane. And, Jay asked me, how can it seem like that the Oilers don't know exactly what's going on with Evander Kane? And I just said, well, that basically seems how it is. Like, there's two camps here. It seems to me the communication isn't flowing as much as it should be. That's my impression. But I'm not going to necessarily ask you specifically about that unless you want to comment on it. But can you tell me what is normal for a player who's out long term? Is he around the team all the time? Is he always getting treatment? Does he still hang out with his teammates? Or is he kind of like a separate entity now? And the coaches and players are like, tell me when you're healthy, because we don't want an injured guy around the players.
Okay, so I'll frame it this way. Two things that have really changed over the years. One is the first part of that, and that's second and however many third opinions from outside sources and doctors. That's become really popular the last couple of years. So you have the right with the PA to seek out secondary opinions or treatment if you see fit. If you and your agent aren't happy with the opinion of the team doctor and the team staff, if you say, hey, listen, it's not that we don't trust you, we would just like to get a second opinion, that is in your rights. So, for example, I had shoulder surgery my first year in Edmonton, my rookie year, in March 2nd. And Edmonton doctors took a look at it and everything. But I had previous surgery in Cleveland by a guy named Tony Mediachi, who does a ton of athletes. So I ended up going to have surgery there. And it's not a big deal, right? Like the team doesn't necessarily, it's not that they don't care, but in a Evander situation, that's kind of what I'm thinking / knowing / assuming that's happened, is that he's had multiple injuries, multiple surgeries, and it's been from not only medical staff with Edmonton, but I think he's been on the outside and gone for second and third, opinions and treatment outside of that. That's why I think it's so in the dark, is because I think he's probably, if I had to guess, he's probably getting the opinion of maybe even doctors that aren't even on the Edmonton staff, which is completely in his rights. I don't know his whole situation. I have to agree that it has been weird because you don't hear a ton of it. I thought it was the hip, and then all of a sudden they go, you had surgery again, and you're going, wait, I thought he already had surgery. All I can say coming forward too is, so the LTIR thing too. The only guy that I really had on my roster, not that my roster, but on a team of mine that was on LTIR that wasn't around much was Andrew Ferentz. My last year, my third year at Edmonton. He had a hip. He had to have a hip surgery. Do you remember this, Reid? Right? Yep. He had to have hip surgery, but he wasn't playing. It was a tense situation. It wasn't. I don't even really feel comfortable complimenting on the details to that because I don't know them, but he wasn't around much after that. I do know for the most part, 95, 98% of even long-term injury, guys are there every day, every morning, almost every single day that the team is at the rink. Injured players are there. They would generally just have a different time. They would be slotted at 7 a.m. And then, so when the boys get in, they are not taking, tables and treatment away from guys that have it. So going forward with Kaner, I don't even know. What's he giving you at 34 after hip and knee surgery is my only thing, right? Like,
yeah, well,
if this is game one, that's a different thing, but are you throwing him straight into game 75 or round one of the playoffs? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what Kane you're going to get.
See, this is an interesting, there's the Kane stuff. And then because Jay also asked me, sorry if I'm stealing your questions, Jay, but Jay said, like, can a team tell a guy you're getting surgery? But I should have given you context here too, Jay, because I don't know. I don't think you were working in media yet, Luke, but maybe you watched the news conference. But when they were announcing the Clefbaum stuff and there was still COVID going on, so it was over Zoom. And I asked Holland a question like, oh, well, what about the timing of the surgery? You know, and now he's going to have it and the season's about to start. And Holland even said, he's like, okay, Reid, I know what you're asking me. Why didn't we tell him to have surgery months ago? And he's like, well, we kind of can't, you know, and he's not sure.
Yeah.
We want to be sure, right?
I would say it's a cohesive decision. My shoulder was and wasn't. I was supposed to have it at the end of the season, but we were rolling around and we were finally eliminated from the playoffs. And I think that's when they were like, hey, you know what? It's not that these games don't mean anything, but let's get you done now so that you're ready for next season. And that ended up being the best decision I made. Actually, I ended up having to get sent to Oklahoma City anyway. I wasn't even ready. So it didn't even work out, but it was cohesive. It wasn't like, hey, go get surgery. It was like, hey, this is what we're thinking. You know, are you okay to this? So,
right. But if a player actually said, I need to go talk to another doctor, that's something that could happen.
Well within his rights. And it happens. That's what I'm saying. It happens a lot more now than I think it did in the past. I think guys in the past were more upset, afraid of upsetting, you know, team staff and management, where now guys are really taking their own health into their own hands kind of thing.
All right. We'll see what happens there as we lead into the trade deadline well, even if Kane's not traded, we still got to see what happens with him possibly coming back. Goaltending. It was a rough first 4 games of the road trip, I think, for both guys. I know Stu played 3 out of the 4. Stu got pulled against Colorado before the road trip. Pickard very, very good on Saturday, especially in the third. Like I didn't think he was. I didn't think Carolina did much personally the first 2 periods, but man, oh man, they got interested in the third. My take on that game.
Did they ever? And I'd be starting pick on Tuesday if that's what you're asking.
Yes.
You don't have a tandem of goaltenders, but you have one that's playing better than the other right now. It looks like I think just Stu needs a little break here. If Pick can ride this for a couple, what do they have? So they have Anaheim on Tuesday and then Hockey Night Canada, Dallas on Saturday,
and Montreal on Thursday. Yeah.
Start Pick for sure on Tuesday, and I think you go from there. But honestly, I go back to the playoffs last year in round 2 when Pick came in. They don't make the Stanley Cup Finals without Pick. Like, he came in and saved that team's series. He saved their season. He's been unreal coming in spot starts. And to me, it looks like Stu just needs just a little break, just a little reset. Just because you're right. I thought he looked better versus Florida, but you need him at his best here, man. Down the stretch, coming into the end of this thing, you're gonna need some better goaltending than that.
Well, how do players react to? I don't even necessarily want to call them bad goals, but deflating goal. Like, I look at the Schmidt shot from like it's Nate Schmidt. You know, he's not a like if Reinhart pops that just inside the post, maybe I have a different attitude on it.
I think it's timely too. Right. It's timely. It's not just the save, it's the time of the game. And you're right. It's the player. It's not Barkov walking down, toe dragging and going back against the grain, a high blocker. It's Nate Schmidt taking a low glove shot. Like, you need a save there. End of the day, like, you need a save there. And yes, guys do get deflated. It sinks a bench. And not just like that goal in particular, but that's a great example of a goal where you're grinding, starting to get some momentum, and then one of those goes and you're like, man, you know, like it just sinks you. And I think that's one of the things that makes good teams great, is to be able to shake off that adversity and just keep going. But that's not something the Oilers do well. They hold their emotions very close to their chest, and it's like you can just see the body language. You see the shoulders start to sag, and I don't know if Leon was mad at Skins at the end of the game when he kind of shoved the door and looked back, but I would assume that, yeah, there's probably a couple guys that were upset about that.
Yeah, I don't know if we talked about other shows. I just thought Leon was probably yelling at a linesman or something, given how other players
I didn't know
like,
if it was Stu, but yeah, it did. I don't know. It didn't look great, but he's you know what? He wants to save. He's in his right to want a save every now and then.
Luke, just, you know, the Oilers obviously had this stretch where they were playing poor hockey. I mean, it was uninspired. You know, what did Coach Knobloch say about their game?
Well, he called them
Well, he said
fragile.
He called them fragile,
Yeah,
right?
In terms of how they were on the road trip, I don't think he thinks that's who they are overall. I don't think.
No, obviously not. And nor do you or I don't think you, Luke, think that this team is a fragile team in general. But how does that, the ebb and flow of going from being a team that was looking lights out for most of December and most of January to then just hitting a wall and playing uninspired hockey for this road trip, albeit it was a tough road trip. But how do you, when you're in the midst of that, how do you find and find the way to get out of it? Is it the old adage, you got to simplify your game? Or, from experience, what would you say, Luke?
So to lean on that first part, this is really the first time I think we've heard Knobs speak fairly negatively on the current situation. Like not only the fragile thing, but the one night in Tampa, after Tampa, he said we didn't have enough guys going, or that's, that wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Passengers, that's it. Like I had never heard him refer to the guys like that before. That was kind of telling to me. What I always look to, I was one of them, but I couldn't control with my play. You look to your leaders, man. You always look to your leaders. And I think that I'm not even in that room, but that's Connor, that's Leon, that's Himes, that's Ekholm, right? And I would be one of those guys, but at a certain time, like once we get on the ice, I'm not doing too much in my play. I could scrap every now and then, but I wasn't going to go have a big period, get on the score sheet, get a couple big goals to get us back in. It's your leaders that you lean on, because you can. I'm not going to lie, like those comments probably weren't received very well by the team. You don't love hearing that stuff. Like if I'm sitting there and you see passengers, you're checking Twitter after the game or whatever it is, and you're heading home and your coach just called you a bunch of passengers, like that stings a little bit. And I think you look to your leadership core. It's tough because I'm looking straight at Davo, and Connor looks a little gassed these days. I think he looks a little tired. So it's Leon, it's Connor, it's Matthias, and that's in the situations that I can remember. It was always the top guys to get you out of it.
Well, they gave Connor the choice of having the day off today. He did not take it. Ekholm and Arvidsson did. So
interesting, man. He doesn't. He's going.
Yeah. All right, Luke. Thanks for giving us a little bit of extra time. Interesting time of year. So you'll be on with Dusty next week, and then back with us in a couple of weeks. Who knows how the Oilers roster will look then, my friend. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem, guys. I'll be on the intermissions tomorrow night and then deadline Friday. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what we're talking about next week, boys.
Perfect. Another great appearance by Luke Gazdic from Sportsnet, former Edmonton. We covered a lot of stuff there. So he, good insight on the injured players.
Yeah.
And it is that it even said, I mean, it's not like he's been out of the game for a long time, that even the freedom players would have to explore out of team options for recovery, surgery, whatever, has increased. And he said he'd go with Pickard tomorrow. So it's unanimous.
Top to bottom.
So we know, so Knobloch obviously is going to go with Pickard. All right. We got to get in a quick timeout. Oh, portions of this hour, by the way, presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. Make your birthday legendary at the Canadian Brewhouse. Epic food, killer drinks, and a vibe you can't beat. Plus, get free nachos with our app. How about that? Free nachos with your birthday. Book your party now. Canadian Brewhouse, our house is your house. Here's Brendan.
The Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it. And Kulak is sick, but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL, featuring the Battle of New York taking place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. Buffalo heads to Montreal, and the Lightning head across the state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season. However, the team is hopeful his groin will be good to go for playoffs. Draw 9 at the Briar is live. Mike McEwen's Saskatchewan rink leads Quebec 5-4 after the 7th, and in the 8th end, PEI trails Brad Jacobs Alberta rink 10-2. 7 games across the association, including the Hawks in Memphis. The Wizards meet the Heat in Miami, and the Rockets hit the road to tip off against the West leading Thunder. This sports update is presented by Windsor Plywood Leduc. Locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since 93. Doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff at Windsor Plywood Leduc. Buying or selling after the break, I am Brett and Eric, and you are up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Take your career to the next level with Nate's Construction Leadership and Supervision Program, a perfect tool for professionals looking to advance their role or an organization needing to develop leaders. Learn more about safety supervision, scheduling, cost control, and most importantly, how to lead a team. For more information and to register, visit nate.ca/CLSP to take your career to another level.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
All right, hope you're having a great afternoon. Jason Milne, Reid Wilkins, Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
I know who you are.
Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com is where you can send your limericks. Here's the Big Uke. He writes one pretty much every day. He even sent us a video limerick when he was in Vegas. Remember that? Oil finally back in the column of wins. Jay was hoping to win the Mackenzie King twins. Reid was wrong. Shaggy bangs the gong. Have you ever laid on a bed of pins? What is the Mackenzie King twins reference to? What are we missing there? Do you know?
No.
Jay was hoping to win the Mackenzie King twins.
Mackenzie King.
What is that?
I have no idea. William
Big
Lyon
Uke,
Mackenzie King.
You have befuddled us. We sit befuddled before you. I don't know what he means. We were talking about Mackenzie Bowell, former prime minister, that one day, about a month ago, remember?
When I Google it, it says Dougal McDougall Max King and his wife May had two twin sons in Ottawa in 1913. One of the boys was named after Max's famous uncle, William Lyon Mackenzie King.
Okay.
Who was Canada's longest
But you were trying to win them? Jay was hoping to win the Mackenzie King twins.
I have no idea. This is great.
We're lost.
This is riveting.
Yeah. Either we're missing something incredibly obvious, or Big Uke has made the most obscure reference in the 6 months history of this program.
Big Uke says he's on the $50 bill.
You're hoping to win $50.
I suppose.
In what?
I don't know. I always would like to get $50.
Winning money is always fine.
Sure.
It's always
Twins
preferable
is
to
in
losing
two
one.
of them. So I was
trying to
looking
win $100.
Oh, off my $1 bet.
Oh, wow. On the exact score of the hockey game. Holy crap, Big
Wow.
Uke. We got there.
We
We
did.
got kind of good. We needed a little nudge.
It's a little nudge. I just poke you. You go, okay? You go this way, okay? So now keep going.
That's all you needed.
Well, that's a voice I've heard several times in the bullpen. I just never heard it live on air, and it's as glorious as ever.
Sometimes the voices just show up out of nowhere. By the way, keep clicking. Good audience today on YouTube, but people are slow with the thumbs today. I don't know, a little dozy coming out of the weekend, maybe just riveted with their content. So I don't know. Give us the thumbs up.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
Sometimes I hear things that I've done, and I wonder not only A, how I'm employed, but how B, anybody even talks to me about anything.
You're a creative mind, Reid.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Yeah. I don't know what goes on up in that head, but sure.
Well, you're quite an odd man yourself, to be fair.
I am, man. Odd in every good way.
Time for buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com. Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. Okay, so do we have a couple, or at least one, LTIR idea? Or salary cap idea?
Well, yeah, okay. So Stanley and YYC, thanks for listening from Calgary. That's YYC, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Reid, longtime listener, first-time texter.
Hello.
Listening to...
Sorry. Sorry.
Have you come at long last?
That's it. That's the reply when someone says long-time listener.
Yes.
First-time texter.
Have you come at long last?
Okay. Anyway.
Listening to the Kane situation while driving home. Why doesn't the NHL just make it so the teams can be over the cap after the deadline if one of their players returns early from the LTR, and just make it that your playoff lineup per game has to be cap compliant like in the regular season? I know players don't get paid in the playoffs, but this would make it more difficult to cheat the system, he says.
No, but well, from what I'm hearing, though, then you're allowing them to cheat the system after the trade deadline. So a team's 5 points out of the playoffs. They trade for two really good players, so they're only over the cap for the last 6 weeks of the season, and they get into the playoffs, but then they got to go back to a cap-compliant roster in the playoffs. I think it has to be either your... Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard that take before, but I don't think they would ever allow you to be over the cap in the regular season. I don't think they would want that. I've never heard that suggested before. That's an interesting one. Sorry, Jay, I want to read one here on the nasty chat. Ro Nelson says, why would anyone ever give a no-move clause to a player with Arvidsson's injury history? Yeah, I think that's a fair question, and there are a lot of no-move clauses on the Oilers. The general answer to that, Ro probably knows, it's a negotiation tactic for players, right? Well, I'm down to 3 teams. These other two, they're thinking about giving me a no-move. Okay, fine, we'll give you a no-move. And I think you try, and usually if you're an older player, you're more likely to get a no move, right? And I think, and you have to remember this too, that the NHLPA is stronger than, well, certainly the NFLPA, and it's one of the stronger unions for pro sports. So players are more likely to be able to get what they want because of the environment that exists. And I will say this, like I get the criticism of Oilers managers, past and present, giving out a lot of no-move clause. But also remember, if you're a player, okay, so you're Adam Henrique, you're 35, right? Do you want to be traded at the deadline if the Oilers are having an off season or they think there's an opportunity to get something for you? You want to say, like, hey, I just got traded at the deadline. I want to be here, so give me that assurance that I'm going to be here.
Well, and, I think he's got a young family. They maybe purchased a place here. Yeah, if you can get that as a player, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Why wouldn't your agent fight for that? And, this is a direct reflection on Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson. Well, mostly Jeff Jackson, I suppose, right? Of offering these. And now, you're stuck.
Right.
You can't really do anything.
Yeah. So I get, I get Rowe's question. And I just think that comes with the territory of having older players on your team.
Which the Oilers do.
And maybe saying, all right, we just went to a Stanley Cup final with you, Henrique or whoever, so we're going to give you a no move. Now, I get it, Jeff Skinner on a 1-year deal. But again, Skinner's probably saying, okay, at least I want to know I'm playing that year with the Oilers, that I'm not just a chip for them to trade at the deadline, which, let's face it, he and Arvidsson wouldn't be much of chips the way the season has gone for them. But fair question, but I think too a fair criticism / comment, however you want to look at it, of the Oilers getting into this, moving into the trade deadline. There's only so many players they can trade, unless, and we've heard maybe Arvidsson would be open to being moved. We'll see. But
who's taking him though?
Well, that's the thing. What is the value of some of those two guys in
like
particular?
The Oilers are in a very tough position here. Nobody that would be tradable is getting traded.
Do you want to trade?
Or would be wanted that much, unless you can try and find a better fit for a player like Arvidsson if he was to remove that. But he's not having a great year. Teams that are going for a Stanley Cup run don't generally trade for players that aren't having a great year. Reid.
But it's an interesting comment, and it is something and that's maybe we're not going to see a massive splash by the Oilers here over the next 4 days.
I want you to buy or sell on this topic here. The team formerly known as the Edmonton Prospects, they're set to debut in their new stadium in Spruce Grove.
Yep.
I've driven by the stadium. It looks wicked. It looks like a miniature version of Remax Field. Has a new name. Have you heard what the new name is?
Oh, no, I didn't know they were renamed.
I wouldn't even make you guess because you'll never guess it.
Oh, wow. Did I get an email about it that I missed?
Okay. True or false? The name Edmonton or Spruce Grove is in the name.
False.
Correct.
So they went a different way because they're playing out of Spruce Grove.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Energy City Cactus Rats.
Oh, wow. They really went Cactus Rats?
Cactus Rats.
Well, look, it's
I think
you got to have a name that people are going to remember.
It's
not
minor league
the
baseball.
NHL. Yeah, it's not even minor leagues. It's college, right?
Like the Saskatoon Berries.
Right.
The Energy City Cactus Rats, which essentially a cactus rat is a porcupine. So the logo is a porcupine or a cactus rat in a yellow high vis vest. And
I'm buying on that name all day long.
I'm buying on that.
Like, why not?
Cactus
Why not
rats.
have fun with it? Like when I was younger, I might have been like, "Oh no, you can't." Why not?
Why not? And I get the Edmonton Prospects were paying homage to the Klondike era and prospecting, but why not? What's a cactus rat? How many times today has cactus rat been Googled? I'm sure, and it's a cute little thing. Brendan, you should find that.
Good for them.
We'll put that
Energy
logo up.
City that's more to me. Going with Energy City is more alternative than going with Cactus Rats. And now you have a four word team name: Energy City Cactus Rats.
It represents the hard work, resilience, and passion of our players, staff, and fans. And it had to do with the paying homage to Edmonton as an industrial hub with roots in the energy sector.
Right. Yeah. Well, why not? Have some fun with it.
And he's got a bat, too. He's got a bat with nails in it. Like, he could do some damage.
Angry.
Yeah, he's an angry little cactus rat.
An angry little porcupine. No, good for them. I hope they do well playing in Spruce Grove. All right, 5 o'clock. We had to take a quick timeout. Ian Herber's Golden Bears hockey coach is coming up. We're going to have some fun with Mark Mwo as well from the MCTV podcast. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
in advance of next Friday. There's various camps. There's camps that say this team needs a starting goalie to go win the Stanley Cup. There's other camps saying you're not throwing away Skinner, just they need to solidify their goaltending a little bit more going into the playoffs. And then there's the third camp, which is the run with these two guys.
These two guys are affordable, serviceable. It's a head game. Don't come out of it.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
The Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it. Kulak is sick, but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL feature in the Battle of New York, taking place at MSG, when the Rangers host the Islanders. The Sens are in Washington to take on the Caps, and the Lightning head across the state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season. However, the team is hopeful his groin will be good to go for playoffs. Draw 9 is live at the Briar. Mike McEwen's Saskatchewan rink leads Team Quebec 8-4 in the 9th end, and Brad Jacobs' Alberta rink took down Team PEI 10-3. The Toronto Tempo, the newest WNBA expansion franchise, have announced that tennis legend Serena Williams is joining the team's ownership group. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you need. Horses, dogs, ducks, you name it, Clover Bar Feeds has got you covered. Get top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park or call them at 780-467-5014. Game of the night coming at you now. I'm Brendan Eric, and you are up to date.
Matthew Wanek right now in Mexico. That's that sound. It's sitting on the beach with what's a fruity drink? A Shirley Temple?
He was excited about having, what are the gin ones with lime? Or is it gin? Or with mint? Mojito.
Oh, mojito.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had one of those.
I don't like mint, so. Ugh.
Yeah, mint's okay. I don't know.
Rita Butsky says about the Energy City Cactus Rats, and he's the one who chimed in earlier on the River Cree inbox.
Thanks, baby.
I'm all for fun, but that's trying way too hard to be clever. Some genius on Facebook compared it to the Edmonton Elks. Not even close. If they'd called our CFL team the Lumbertown Fork Monkeys, then it'd be comparable.
Name. I'll say this. I think Cactus Rats is a cool name. Energy City is really alternative. That's that, and that, you know, it's a long name, but hey, why not? Why, like, who says it has to be called exactly Edmonton or Spruce Grove?
We got past 130, Reid.
Let's go for 150. Thumbs up on YouTube. 780-218-9999 is the EST inbox, by the way. That's where you text River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And yeah, keep clicking it went up since we're like 15 away from double word of the day territory. So people tend to rally at this time of day, right? So let's click away, get to 150. Our off-topic was make us a trade proposal. We could actually trade you for William Huff. So you were going to trade.
I'm trading. Shoot, what was it?
See, like this is
sandwiches.
People are going to show up and be like, "Oh, Jay, this is one of the ones you agreed for."
Donuts and sandwiches for a Glue Crew hoodie. So essentially, I'm buying you lunch. It just is a matter of if we have the hoodie or not. And then the other one was signed Taylor Hall picture for I forget.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why? How do you not save these?
Well,
because you know the nasties are going to show up and say, "Oh, Jay agreed to this trade." Everybody, just Jay, what do you give me?
I know it made sense at the time.
And right, the goal for Thumbs is now 100. Thank you, Hula Boy Steve, for pointing out my error.
For a burned copy of the Brody CD.
Oh, that's totally attainable.
That's an emailable one.
That one's quite simple.
He did say great doing business with you.
Okay. So. I would save those if I were you, Jay. Just my wisdom and age speaking.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Time for a game of the night for Play More Tables and Games. From ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for, visit Canada's Game Room Experts. Locations in Edmonton and Calgary, or online at playmoregames.ca. Do we know anybody that sings their theme song?
What? The Play More Tables and Games?
Yeah.
You know what? Right. It was Dusty.
Play more tables and games.
I find that so funny. I don't know why. My game of the night, I got to go with the National Hockey League, as I often do. What do we have? 6 games tonight. Capitals are already up 2-0 on the Islanders about 15 minutes into the first period. I'm going to go with Chicago hosting the Los Angeles Kings. That one starts at 6:30 tonight. The LA Kings 4 points behind the Oilers for second in the Pacific Division, and they are with 2 games in hand. So that'll be my game of the night. Kings against Chicago. Blackhawks are not good. Second last in the West. Game of the night for Play More Tables and Games.
Yeah. I'm going to go with gymnastics.
Do you have more gymnastics tonight?
Yeah. Oh, do I ever? No, it's not. So I go perch every Monday after the show. I go sit and watch gymnastics for 2.5 hours.
Okay,
and you can imagine how fun that is. I love being there to support my youngest daughter. That's the point. But my gosh, why do we have to be there so long, people?
Is it competition or just practicing?
It's not competition.
Okay.
I can tell you that for free. Yeah, gymnastics. We need that clip from Robin Hood with the little turtle when they're having the archery competition. He says, "Yay, Dad!"
Oh, jeez. Well, have fun with that. I guess that's the practice of the night for Play More Tables and Games.
Yeah, it's good. It's just a long night. Like, I won't get home till 9:30.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry, buddy.
That's all right. But you know what? I got some. I'll be posting some clips from the show.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Do a little work.
You'll be busy.
Oh yeah.
10 thumbs away from double word of the day territory. We're at 145. We're trying to get to 100. So I teased this earlier because a couple McDonald's in Canada, one in Edmonton and one in Newmarket, renamed McDavid's in the wake of his Four Nations face-off tournament-winning goal, right? So we have our restaurants that would be named after Edmonton Sports Talk employees. It's the top 3 for food sausage. The best sausages you will ever eat, locally made, packed full of flavor. Order online, visit them in-store, 6736 99th Street. Take advantage of their EST discount. 10% off your order by entering the online code EST or mentioning EST in-store. As Food Sausage says, you can't beat our meat. Top 3 restaurants named after Edmonton Sports Talk employees. So these aren't... So the McDavid thing was a current place that was renamed. These aren't current places that would be renamed. These are restaurants that would start up, right, and would embody the spirit and/or palate of the Edmonton Sports Talk employee in question. Fair?
Yeah.
Did I just use and/or again?
Maybe.
I love when I do that.
Make it so, number 1.
That's Patrick Stewart playing Jean-Luc Picard. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Because we both have the same person. I don't know all 3 of yours. I think we only know 2 of each other's.
Well, my first one's just a good old-fashioned, just because it sounds good. When it comes off the tongue, it makes sense. And that would be Dusty's Pub and Grill. I mean, hey, Reid, after Friday's show, me and a couple of fellas, we're going to be going down to Dusty's. Want to join? I mean, that just sounds right.
Going to Dusty's. It sounds cool.
We're going to get, and every night at Dusty's Pub and Grill, from 5 to 8 is wing night. No matter what night of the night.
He always says discount
5 to 8.
and he's there eating the wings with you.
Yes.
Or not finishing the wings.
That's
with
right.
you, as we know.
Just leaving countless pounds of meat on the bone. Now, there'd be off-track horse racing. Okay.
Nice.
There'd be a sports book as well, so you can make your bets. Be pool tables, arcade games. It would be magical. It would be a playground for adults. So Dusty's Pub and Grill is my number 1.
I think that should be Dusty's goal, that he actually opens a pub and grill and then EST just broadcasts out of there. We just have a sound booth, like we're glassed in or not.
Well,
or just, somehow.
There was talks about potentially moving into the old Shanks building.
Oh, really?
And
very large space, though.
Not really real talks, but it was mentioned.
But not realistic talks. It just came up, sort of a passing fancy.
And and at each table at Dusty's Pub and Grill, there'd be a dispenser that you just hold a cup under, and it dispenses ranch.
Oh, that's a
it.
great idea.
Yeah.
They could be big tubes running through the ceiling.
These things, like they used to have Rexall beers. Well, they'd have Dusty's Ranch.
That's
just
a good
always
idea.
On the move.
You've thought that out very well.
Yes.
My number 1 is also inspired by our leader and owner, Dustin Nielsen. It's Nielsen's Nuggets. That would be the name of the restaurant. Fast food, Nielsen's Nuggets. And all they serve is chicken nuggets. And I mean that. No fries, no drinks, no chicken strips, no chicken burgers. It's just Nielsen's Nuggets. But you can order like just a single nugget. You could get a 3-pack, a 5-pack, maybe then it goes up to 9, then like a 15, then maybe a 21.
And a family meal?
Yeah, and Dustin, I told this one to Dustin earlier today, and he said, yeah, the price per nugget would drop as you order more.
Yeah, it's worth it to get the 100 nuggets.
So maybe if you want 1 nugget, it would be $2. But then if you
Now,
got
are you
21
talking-
nuggets, it's like $35.
Are you talking tenders or nuggets?
No, nuggets.
You're going nuggets.
Yeah, the Nielsen's Nuggets.
What about if he sold, if he had, different roasted nuts as well, and it could be Nielsen's Nuts and Nuggets?
So I never thought of that.
I mean, what's better than having chicken and roasted pecans?
Well, for me, nothing is good about that.
It wouldn't be good for you.
No.
Now, is this a full restaurant or is this more of a food truck?
It's fast food. Oh, I guess it'd be like a small, like a fast food size place.
Yeah.
Mostly for takeout, but there'd be a few tables.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm down with that. My second restaurant would be Tommy's Trattoria. This would be Napoleon-style pizzas, but in the corner, there's going to be 2 hairstylist booths. So you can have your hair done while you're waiting for your pizza to get cut.
Jeez.
Tommy's Trattoria. Come for a slice and a cut. Right? What's better than that?
That's a great idea.
Italian inspired?
I could tell you used to work in business.
I love a good trattoria.
My second one is quite simple, but the guy who is I think the most well-traveled and most worldly of all our Edmonton Sports Talk employees, and I think he has the most diverse palate and has probably tried the greatest variety of foods. It's just Gauger's Grill. So simple name, but not like an extensive menu. Like it's one of those places, maybe it's 10 to 12 dishes, but maybe you just want burger and fries and you get the best burger and fries you've ever had. Or maybe he has a high-end steak or something a little more exotic on the menu, or Gauger's pick of the day.
No,
and
I
it's
got
some
it.
sort of, raw camel meat or something.
Here's what it is.
Sorry to camel lovers everywhere.
Gauger's Grill has no menu.
Oh!
You come in and you just say how many plates you need.
And Gauger serves you.
And Gauger serves you what he's cooking that day.
Right. It could be one of those really small places, like 5 tables.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Like
we're
a table for 2,
We're
2
booked.
tables for 4, a table for 6, and a table for 8.
Yeah.
It holds like
and you don't know what's going to be
20 people,
on the
25
menu.
people. Yeah.
Right?
You're getting
you
a
just
serving.
trust
You
because
just get the serving. Yeah.
Gauger knows what to do, and he's going to serve whatever it is. It's going to be delicious.
That's a great idea.
Gauger's Grill, home of the no menu.
And Gauger serves you. He's actually like the maitre d' and the
he
server.
cooks it, serves it.
I don't
everything.
know if he would cook it.
Maybe he would hire.
I think he'd hire.
He'd probably run the bar.
Yeah.
He could make a
And he'd go around and check
and
on
chat.
all the tables. Yeah.
and chat. And he could have all his hockey memorabilia in there.
Yeah.
He'd serve nice margaritas.
And it's a small place.
It's
It's
small.
an intimate place. It's nothing fancy. It
Yeah.
fits Gauger's personality.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love that. Okay, my third restaurant, and this is my favorite. This is by far my favorite. Is Hernan's Huevos. Hernan's Huevos. This would be a breakfast spot where all they serve is huevos rancheros, which is a Mexican breakfast, Spanish breakfast. I don't know.
Right.
But I know Hernan likes the heat, so he could probably make so many different varieties and versions of huevos rancheros. Man, I want to
That's
go.
good. Yeah, I'm getting hungry now.
I want to go to Hernan's Huevos.
My third one is just based purely on the name. It's our top 3 restaurants named after EST employees. It's presented by Food Sausage. Zachary Kubusch, who is on holidays this week. Usually he is here with us in the afternoons. Where do you think I would go with this? Koob's Cuba.
Koob's
Cuba. Specializing in Kubusch.
Yes. He'd make Kubusch dogs, Kubi burgers.
Yeah.
Kubi nuggets.
Yeah, and just get a ring of Kubusch.
Kubi fries.
Cut it up at your table and eat it with cheese and crackers.
Kubi donair. I mean, there's so many things you can do with Kubusch.
There really is.
I love that.
And Koob would be sitting there holding court.
What would Koob do? I could see Koob wanting to be in the kitchen and slaving over that grill. You know the amount of onions that would be involved in this restaurant?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how many.
At least 10.
At least 10.
At least 10.
At least 10 onions. Those are our top 3 for Food Sausage restaurants named after EST employees. We may have to do this again if we think of more in the months and years to come. That was pretty fun.
Well, we could do top restaurants. We could do top coffee spots.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Top gyms. If you needed to go for a workout, what each EST employee would bring to the table.
Golden Bears hockey had their season come to an end last night. We'll break it down with head coach Ian Herbers coming up.
Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it. And Kulak is sick but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL schedule tonight. The Battle of New York takes place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. The Sens are already down 2-0 to Washington. And the Lightning head across state to face off against the Panthers, who will be without Matt Tkachuk for the remainder of the season. However, the team is hopeful that the Groin will be good to go for playoffs. Pro Football Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson has called it quits on his broadcasting career. The 81-year-old was a member of NFL on Fox panel since 2000. And after 5 seasons with the Eagles, Darius Slay has become a cap casualty. After dumping the 34-year-old, the Eagles will save $4.3 million against next year's cap. Head coach of the Golden Bears, Ian Herbers, after the break. I'm Brendan Eric, and you are up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Darren Dreger this morning.
Vegas is always the outlier. You know, McCrimmon is as crafty as they come. I look at Braden Shen. I know the history of Kelly McCrimmon and Braden Shen. I'm not so sure that Vegas wouldn't have some interest in Mikko Rantanen if big capital IF here, Carolina decides that they want to actually engage in trade conversation and negotiation.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Love is in the air. I love you. And you? And you? And you! Why choose between your beloved items? Sentinel Storage, keeping your treasures safe to be loved again. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The Canadian Brewhouse wing flavors of the month are going head-to-head. Spicy Dill 2.0 versus Bang Bang Sauce. Head to the Canadian Brewhouse for wing night to cast your vote. Great wings, cold drinks, and an atmosphere you won't forget. The Canadian Brewhouse. Our house is your house.
Your home for live music and great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the internationally recognized tribute, the Alan Jackson Experience, April 18th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement? Bet on it.
Brendan, just keep this music playing. Hear me out. This is the music that would be playing at Tommy's Trattoria.
Oh, really?
Right? Ooh, yeah.
Not bad.
Pizza in a cut.
Portions of this hour presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. Get the Canadian Brewhouse Express lunch served in under 15 minutes or it's free. Dig into the Turkey Club sandwich or Alberta Wagyu ravioli. I always struggle to say that. Wagyu. Monday to Friday until 2 p.m. Canadian Brewhouse. Glad to have them on board. Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Well, we've enjoyed talking a lot of UofA sports since this show started in September. Unfortunately, no more games to tell you about for the Golden Bears hockey team, eliminated in the Canada West semifinal last night in Calgary, taking on Mount Royal. Mount Royal winning the series 2-1. The head coach of the Golden Bears is Ian Herbers. Ian, you're on with Reid and Jay. How are you doing? Well, I think Brendan, can you run that through the other way? Ian, just hang tight a sec. We just got a bit of a connection issue. We will get you here right away. Of course, the Bears beat Calgary the previous weekend. I went to games 2 and 3 in that series, down to Mount Royal. Lost game 1 in overtime, won 6-0 in game 2, and then beaten 4-2 last night. So you had to win that series to go to Nationals. Ian, just want to check again. How are you doing?
There.
Okay, we got you, Ian. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, in terms of this series, I mean, kind of an interesting one because they won 2 close games and you guys won in a blowout. Can you kind of take us through this matchup against the Cougars?
Well, obviously they had a very strong year. The league was very competitive this year. You look at the 6 teams that made playoffs, and the team that was favored to win it all and had the most veterans and were defending champions were the team that probably should have won it all this year, lost to Saskatchewan last weekend. That's first game in Mount Royal, they came out flying, which we knew they would, and they threw everything at us. We bent, we didn't break. We were just down 1-0. We battled our way back. Played a really strong 50 minutes of the hockey game, and then you throw the 10 minutes into overtime. Unfortunately, we made a poor decision, which ended up costing us the game in overtime. Game 2, we refreshed, recharged, came out, we scored right away. The key part was we scored back to back. It was a minute or under 2 minutes, we got the second goal. And that's the key, giving us that 2-goal cushion. Then we got the third goal, and then we went out in the second period and got the fourth goal. And then eventually made it a 6-0 game. I thought we had a great start to the third game. We controlled most of the play. We scored on our second power play immediately. Just couldn't get that second goal again. I was talking about earlier, we had some chances. We had a breakaway. We had a couple of 2-on-1s. We had some point blanks and rebound opportunities. Just couldn't put it in the back of the net. And our penalty kill had been fantastic. Hadn't given up a goal to the top power play in the league. Just as the first period was ending, we gave up a power play penalty kill goal against. Made it a 1-1 game going into the second period. In the second period, we played a little bit, I wouldn't say tentative. We just made some bad decisions with puck and our puck management. We probably controlled the first 10 minutes of the second period, but then we got our game back and played very well. Specialty teams were good for us. We had around 25% mark for the playoff series, keeping the other team down to under 14%, I believe it was. So 2 power play goals scored, and then a mistake in our D zone cost us the game winner halfway through the third period. And we threw everything at him for the remainder of the third and just find that tying goal. And that's basically the series.
All right. Ian, I'm just going to ask you one more because we don't have a great connection today, but I do want to ask you this because I think it's important to get your perspective on this. There is a rule change now with the NCAA and the Western Hockey League, so WHL players can now play in the NCAA. Most of your players, if not all of your players, are WHL grads. Are you concerned about this affecting recruiting, or is there any concern even about players leaving the Golden Bears midstream to go south of the border? Is there anything you can tell me there?
Well, the only thing we know definitely right now is players that we would have talked to in the past in the Western Hockey League or CHL have already committed to CAA programs. A lot of them not great programs in the States. And then there's going to be different costs and everything else. On our side of things, they brought in a rule change where guys now play a year pro. They don't have to redshirt after playing a year. You can actually play up to 18 years without losing any eligibility, or 18 months without losing any eligibility. So that rule will be taking effect here immediately for our league, which now opens it up for us getting some players that maybe have played a year in the East Coast League or maybe a little bit in the American Hockey League. It isn't going the way they wanted to. And we'll be able to recruit them and bring them in as well. We'll look at some top junior A guys that we think have some potential and for development, come in and fit in and help the program and be a plus for both sides. And maybe one or two, there might be 1 or 2 Western Hockey League guys decide they want to come this way. As far as our guys leaving, haven't had a chance to meet with everybody individually, assuming they've been pressured all year long by different schools and different NCAA teams about coming there. I know their alumni associations pay them a ton of money under the table on top of the scholarship they receive. So a lot of incentive monetarily. Unfortunately, some of those schools aren't the best places to be going and playing at. And that's, I guess, all I really know for right now, Reid.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Ian, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll have to try to get you on again maybe when we got a better connection, but I appreciate the update. Was sorry to see it come to an end for you guys last night, but thanks for you and your players always being available to our program.
No problem. Yeah, I thought the boys played hard. It was good. It's good 2 weeks. Just wore us out in that, but the guys played hard in battle, so it was fun being behind the bench with them.
Right on. Ian Herbers is the head coach of the UofA Golden Bears hockey team. We thank him for coming on. We had great chats with a lot of his players throughout the season. So he basically said that they're not going to probably be able to recruit as many players out of the dump as they have in the past. I'm sorry for the call volume there, everybody. I know we had some technical issues, but thanks for bearing with us. But I wanted to get some of Ian's perspective. The Oilers, by the way, have recalled defenseman Cam Dineen from the Bakersfield Condors on an emergency basis. So today, Ekholm and Kulak didn't skate, right? Only 5 players were on the ice who are defensemen: Nurse, Bouchard, Emerson, Klingberg, and Stetcher. So an emergency recall for Dineen. So that makes me wonder what's going on with Ekholm, and is Kulak more ill than it seems like? Because it's the word seemed to be that Kulak was going to be okay for tomorrow. And this is also, to me, now we're just finding this out in the last, well, it's since 5 o'clock they put this out, right? What's up with Ekholm? Because he hasn't seemed right in terms of, well, he missed the game sick, and he sounds terrible when he talks.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds sick, even through and after the Four Nations face-off. And I think we saw on that road trip that his performance didn't seem to be quite at an Ekholmian level, at least what we're used to. So has something been ailing him here the whole time, where maybe it's like, holy crap, he can't play? We'll see. We'll probably find out more tomorrow. I'm not seeing anything else from the Oilers right now. Cam Dineen with the Bakersfield Condors this season, 45 games played, 45 games played, 5 goals, 24 assists, 29 points. Good AHL numbers. 6 penalty minutes, he's +5. He is 26 years of age and basically a career minor leaguer, except for 34 games with the Coyotes in 21-22. He had 7 assists and was -16. And, I think he's been decent in preseason games for the Oilers, but, has not yet really been able to crack an NHL roster, but they may need him tomorrow.
Interesting. See how this unfolds. But you figured this is something to do with Ekholm?
Well, I'm just kind of guessing, right? I'm just kind of guessing. Because we were told Kulak was sick and probably would be able to play today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did they know? Did they know something then that they didn't say? Or has the day progressed and it's like, oh man, these guys, like neither of these guys are going to be able to play tomorrow or might not be able to play, so we better bring up a guy so we can actually dress 6 defensemen if it comes to that.
Yeah, hard to say. Now, what does it mean, Reid, when it's on an emergency basis? Because this would be
like, holy crap, we don't have enough players to ice a team. Basically, right? I'm just checking Puckpedia here.
But it would be over the allowable roster size?
Yeah, if a team has less than 20 players and less than 875K, this is off Puckpedia. If a team has less than 20 players and less than 875K salary cap, no, it says they must play a game with less than, I don't know if this works, but basically you're saying, holy crap, we can't.
We got to field a team.
We got to field a team. The NHL CBA states, hold on, this is better. The NHL CBA states that if a team can't field 6 healthy defensemen and 12 healthy forwards, a player can be recalled on an emergency basis, right? So
wouldn't that lead you to believe that
they're worried. I don't think it means that Dineen is going to play, but I think also because of the travel to get from Bakersfield to Edmonton, I would think there's concern here that they might not be able to have 6 defensemen. So therefore, they have Dineen if neither Kulak nor Ekholm can play. That's how I'm reading into this. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that's what we got on. That's not great. That's not great. No, maybe one or both of them is fine tomorrow. I mean, you only need one of them to be fine, and you got 6 defensemen: Nurse, Bouchard, Emerson, Klingberg, Stetcher, and then one of Kulak or. But they're clearly concerned. Maybe neither of those guys can play,
which is different. Different for Ekholm because he had been playing.
Yes,
he had the day off today because they offered all the guys that played in the Four Nations the day off. Kulak was noted as being ill.
Right. So that's what I don't know anything. I'm just speculating or wondering, is there a larger issue with Ekholm?
Well, you've alluded to it. I mean, we've talked about it on this show. I mean, if you just listen to the guy in interviews,
yes,
before the Four Nations sounded awful.
Yes.
During the Four Nations sounded terrible. Maybe he's fighting something that
he needs another game off, and maybe Kulak's sicker than they thought. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that story, of course. 780-218-9999 is how you text us. It's the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. We are going to do a very special guest for a very fun segment in a couple of minutes. We are 3 thumbs away from 100, which is now what we need for double word of the day. So click away. We need 3 people who haven't thumbed, or text a couple people and say, hey, go give this show a thumbs up, and we'll give you a double word of the day before we sign off at 5:55. Our buddy Mark Mwo to enlighten us on a development from the world of wrestling when we get back.
The Oilers practice this morning saw a couple notable absences, including Ekholm, Arvidsson, and Kulak. The Swedes took the option when given it, and Kulak is sick but not expected to miss any time. 6 games across the NHL featuring the Battle in New York taking place at MSG when the Rangers host the Islanders. The Sens are down 2-0 in Washington as they start the second, and the Canadiens lead the Sabres 1-0 in the first. Pro Football Hall of Famer Jimmy Johnson has called it quits on his broadcasting career. The 81-year-old was a member of NFL on Fox panel since 2000. And after 5 seasons with the Eagles, Darius Slay has become a cap casualty. After dumping the 34-year-old, the Eagles will save $4.3 million against the cap next season. Mark Mwo will join the boys after the break. I'm Brendan Eric, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
All right, so just the news with the Oilers here. They have recalled defenseman Cam Dineen from the Bakersfield Condors on an emergency basis. So teams can do this if they're thinking they're not going to have be able to ice six defensemen in a game. Ekholm and Kulak did not practice today. Nurse, Bouchard, Emerson, Klingberg, and Stetcher were on the ice. So I guess we'll keep an eye on the morning skate tomorrow, which is likely to be optional, but hopefully if we don't get any more information today, we will have it tomorrow morning on what exactly is going on with Ekholm and Kulak. Tomorrow at 7, the Oilers play the Ducks. 6 o'clock, the Oil Stream GCL Diesel pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas.
Fantastic.
Speaking of fantastic, I'm pleased to welcome to the Reid Wilkins show. It's his first. How have we not had this guy on before?
I don't know.
He's awesome. Mark Mwo is checking in. Mark, how are you? You're muted. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Try again, buddy.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, that was on our end.
Oh,
I forgot to
thank you so much for having me, guys. This is very, very cool.
That says guest talk. Yeah.
I appreciate it. What's going on, fellas?
Well, we wanted to spend a few minutes with, and we'll have to have you on for an extended segment at some point. This one will be relatively quick. But we thought, okay, we should talk about this because we don't really understand what happened. And people, like I walked into the office today after a weekend, okay, like the Oilers won, the Briars going on. And then, if it's non-sports stuff, people know I like the Oscars. And I walk in and the first thing someone says to me is like, what do you think of John Cena going heel? And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I also think I just said his name incorrectly.
You did.
Yeah,
that's how little you know. Yeah.
It was it was close enough. So, yeah, the biggest news from wrestling this week was that John Cena turned heel, turned into a bad guy, for those who don't know. And I'm assuming you're both not huge pro wrestling fans. Is that safe to say? Watched it as a kid,
idea.
maybe gave it up? Okay. So are you familiar with Hulk Hogan turning heel at Bash at the Beach in 1996?
Never heard of it.
No, I know that he went heel at some point.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
So basically, what happened on Saturday is something that we've maybe only seen 3 or 4 times throughout the history of modern professional wrestling. John Cena, the best of good guys, has been a good guy for 20 years, turned his back on his fans, and became a bad guy for the first time ever. And why? Not for the first time in over 20 years. And why this is a big deal is because, John is the guy. WWE has really grown and expanded a lot over the last 20 years. A lot due to what the work John Cena has done. They have a big deal on Netflix now. WWE has merged with UFC to form the TKO banner. So it's massive now. It's not just in the control of the McMahon family anymore. There is a lot at stake. And when you're trying to attract new eyeballs, try to get more viewers into your product, you kind of have to do something we haven't really seen before. Now, right around the corner is WrestleMania 41, which is basically WWE's Super Bowl. Biggest event every single year. It's coming in 6 weeks. And I guess about a year ago, John Cena announced that he was going to retire. He's going to pack it all in and say, I'm not going to wrestle full-time anymore. I'll still be around, but not going to do it full-time. And one more WrestleMania match, so we're all kind of speculating what's going to happen, who's it going to be. And then Saturday, he won his match, which meant he will have a match at WrestleMania, but he turned heel. So we're going to have the champion Cody Rhodes, who is a good guy, taking on the bad guy, John Cena, at WrestleMania 41. And I think the wrestling crowd is still trying to catch their breath as to how shocked they were on Saturday night when that move happened.
Okay, but how does he turn? Like, what did he do? Did he, like, vomit on the ref? Did he, like, steal somebody's wallet?
So The Rock was involved. The Rock is now actually a board member with TKO. This is in, like, breaking kayfabe. The Rock actually works for the TKO organization now. He's been around for a long time. But over the last couple months, a lot of fans have been confused as to what The Rock was actually doing. So he came out. He's been around. The Rock is currently playing a bad guy. So he gets booed whenever he walks out right now. And on Saturday night after the match, The Rock came out, and then Cody Rhodes, who is currently the champion, he was going to face the winner of this match. He came out and he agreed, okay, I'm going to face John Cena, and they kind of shook hands in the middle of the ring. And then Cody Rhodes and John Cena embrace in the middle of the ring, give a big hug, and then The Rock, just off camera, makes a motion that would get you flagged in football. He kind of dragged his finger across his neck, and all of a sudden, John Cena hits Cody Rhodes with a kick, like, right in the pills, right, for all 35,000 people in attendance to watch, all the millions across the world. He had a look on his face, all the color drained, and he kicked the champion right in the stones. So if you want to become a bad guy, the quickest way is to just kick someone right in the pills.
Okay.
And then there was kind of
So now they're going to fight at WrestleMania.
Correct. WrestleMania 41.
Okay.
So is The Rock Cena's manager now by this? Like, what happened?
That's kind of what we're kind of thinking as of right now. He's going to be his kind of handler. The Rock did a similar thing last year at WrestleMania, and he's not going to be in the ring likely competing this year, but he will be around. So I imagine WrestleMania.
You wait.
Okay.
So back, baby.
Look,
he will. So
as long as season 2 of Peacemaker is still coming out, I'm happy.
it is.
Okay.
It is. It's already in the hopper, and it's ready to go.
Well, you guys do. Did you tune into the Oscars? Were you watching?
I did. Yep.
So what did you think, Reid? What was the movie? Youth Conclave.
I watched Conclave on Friday. Yeah.
Have you watched all the movies that were on the Oscars?
I tried to watch as many as I possibly can. I could not get to all 10 this year, but I did watch Conclave, the one that Reid is talking about.
Was it because nobody was talking about the movie that won?
I thought that was one of the. I heard that or Amelia Perez was going to win.
I thought you said that. What's the one with the Demi Moore?
Oh, I thought she might win Best Actress. Yeah, I thought she might win Best Actress.
Okay.
Yeah, it won Hair and Makeup, I believe.
Yeah. The movie that won last night was called Anora, and like film Twitter loves Anora. They were obsessed with that movie. The director became the first person to win 4 Oscars for the same movie. So there's a certain segment of film Twitter that is all about Anora. But my favorite movie last year, like, Reid, did you enjoy Conclave?
Yes.
I enjoyed it too. I don't know if it was necessarily my favorite movie in the world, but I certainly enjoyed the 2.5 hours I spent in that universe kind of dealing with those characters.
Yeah, I agree. The acting was good, and it was like an unraveling ball of yarn. That's how I would describe Conclave. Okay, we'll spend more time with you soon, but thanks for giving us the lowdown on John Cena?
Yeah.
There you go.
Cena.
Doesn't he do this?
Breaking his heel.
He does.
Yeah.
You can't see him, but he is in Peacemaker season 2.
That's the joke. Okay.
Yeah.
See you soon, buddy. Thanks for doing
Appreciate
this.
it. Thanks for the invite, guys.
There, he and Corey Graham, friends of EST with the MCTV podcast. That was Jay's idea because Jay was like, we got to explain this to people like us that don't understand it. So surprisingly good reception in the Nasty Chat.
Well, there's
surprisingly knowledgeable wrestling fans.
Wrestling is a thing, man. It's not for me, but it's a big product. And we were asking, like, I asked you if you knew any wrestling fans, and so then we asked Hernan, and Hernan's like, well, Mark Mwo is a big wrestling. Okay, we got to get him on.
Yeah, Hernan's in the Nasty Chat.
Explain what an elimination chamber is.
Well, we didn't get into that.
We've had a lot
is
of
it like the Chamber of Commerce?
I doubt it.
Is there a map to it?
No, nothing's as serious as that.
We don't know for sure. It was great to see Mark. We should have. He's just a fun guy. He's just an energetic guy. I wanted to talk a bit about the Oscars. I watched it. Had a friend over and watched it. Someone I've watched the Oscars with several times. I'll just quickly say, why do I watch? I want to see who wins, right? Because I like to know. Oh, I didn't realize that movie was supposedly that good. I like to see who wins, and I like to see how the host does. I thought Conan O'Brien did a very good job. I thought he was funny. I thought he was a little weird, and he's kind of a little Letterman-esque, almost with the non-humor, or the joke where it's like, oh, that was the punchline. Oh, good one, like so he was very good. That I thought one of his best lines was what he was saying. Conclave was nominated. Yeah, it's a movie about the Catholic Church, everyone. But don't worry. Their tagline was, it's a movie about the Catholic Church, but don't worry. And then he just stopped talking, and then everybody kind of like, okay. Yeah. It was something like that. But I thought he was good. There was a couple of jokes with a sandworm. Like they had somebody in a weird sandworm costume from like Dune, like playing the piano and then later playing the harp. So that was pretty funny. The host in terms of O'Brien, except for one-liner, he stayed out of anything political or Trumpish with the jokes, which I thought was a nice break from that part of the world. Adrian Brody did go on quite a bit with this. It's like he actually quieted the orchestra, and it was probably like, well, he's best actor, and it's his second win. Zoe Saldana was very emotional in her speech for supporting actress, and I know some people don't like the speeches, but I don't mind seeing pure emotion. Or like you got to remember, yeah, they have great jobs. They're in Hollywood. They make a lot of money, probably most of them, but they do care. Like it is their passion. At some point, they had to commit to that. And at that, when they were younger, they probably couldn't have dreamed they'd ever win an Oscar. So I thought some of the emotion in some of, and it was funny too. The guy that won, the director, what was his name? Sean Baker, I think, that won best. He won best editing, best screenplay, and best directing for Anora. But best editing was the first one awarded, and he goes up and he goes, just so everybody knows, I saved this movie in editing because the director didn't give me much to work with. And I was watching, I was like, I didn't know he was all three. And then I was like, wait a minute, he must have been the director. Yes, he was. Okay, anyway, sorry, Jim.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it?
Yeah, 166 thumbs. Good stuff.
Well done, everybody. Well done. Okay. I think you're going to go 2 for 4 today.
Oh, my. Okay.
That's
pressure's on. Now you're predicting my
That's what the line's at.
Standard. Oh, my God. Okay.
First word is draconian. Draconian.
Draconian. This is sort of like very overly harsh and perhaps even outdated methods of punishment or something like that. Like, to make the Oilers sleep outside in the snow after a loss would be draconian.
Draconian describes something, often a law, policy, restriction, etc., that is very severe or cruel. Well done, Reidrick.
Thank you.
Word of the day number 2, decoct. Decoct.
Why would you make that the word?
Decoct. I don't know. It's.
Well, what do you think I want to say? What do you think I want to say?
Decoct.
Does it involve the removal of a body part?
No. Decoct.
Okay, then I'll go with something different. DECOCCED. How do you spell it? Don't tell me it's
DECOCT.
Oh, decoct.
What did you think I said?
You said decoct, which is what it is.
I did say decoct.
It sounds like decoct.
That's because it's the word of the day.
Why would you pick that as the word?
Reid, sometimes
you're just trying to stir up trouble at the end of the show.
I predicted you go 2 for 4, and you're well on your way to going 2 for 4.
That means DOCOCT. What do you think it means, Brendan? Got any help for me, baby? No help at all. Young kids never read. That means it means to be incredibly nervous.
Decoct, to extract the flavor or essence of something by boiling.
All right.
The chef knew how to decoct flavors from natural ingredients to create concentrated versions.
Well, going into dinner time, that's a much nicer image than what I first was thinking of. All right. Thanks to Brendan Eric for all his technical work and for being the sports update deliverer. Our live programming resumes at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. The Oilers have recalled defenseman Cam Dineen from Bakersfield on an emergency basis. He's Jay. I'm Reid. Thanks for listening.
Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.